Third part. Chapter 41 S-level blood phagocytosis. These words were like a basin of cold water, dousing the anger in everyone's eyes. Yes. Su Bai, Nanyao, is currently the most famous evil figure in Tianmen Pass. The strength of the two might not be able to repel the demon clan, but self-protection would not be a problem at all. But they are just one of the many ordinary demon slayers in Tianmen Pass. Average strength, poor self-protection ability. Faced with such a situation, the only one who can take action seems to be a lonely man. Fellow demon slayers. The person on the chair looked at everyone. I know you want to kill the demons and drive these brutal beasts out of our human territory, but the gate of heaven is about to be broken, and we are powerless to save it. What we can do right now is stay calm, and do our job well. As for the rest, leave it to them. They are the other steel city wall after the collapse of Tianmen Pass. Said. He glanced out the window. Everyone followed his gaze and looked over. Under night. In the demon tide. That thin figure was particularly eye-catching. Kill this human race. Kill. The chi and blood are so strong, they must taste good. Human man, use the sword, this is the human race designated by the demon lord to kill. In front of him are tens of millions of monsters. Su Bai, holding his sword alone, was like a small boat sailing against the sea. Thin threads of blood flowed in, dyeing the ground thousands of meters below his feet with a coquettish blush. Swish. 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 With the blessing of blood bite, he has no worries about his spiritual power. With every movement of his hand, he can wield the three swords of Fuyao and the sword of autumn water. With this reckless fighting style, he became more and more courageous as he fought, and within half an hour, he had advanced more than 10 meters. This seemed nothing to him, but from the perspective of the monster killers from behind, it was he who single-handedly drove back the black mist and crushed the entire monster clan. It's too scary. He can defeat tens of millions of monsters alone. Is this Su Bai's true strength? It's scary. None of the monsters in front of him can block his sword. If he uses his sword skills risklessly, won't his spiritual power be exhausted? Those with strong artistic conception are so terrifying. It's burning, it's so G burning. The demon slayers could not describe the scene in front of them. But this moment. That thin figure holding a sword was deeply etched in their hearts like an unforgettable one. Ha ha ha, good job. Let me ask you, who among the previous winter demon tide can be like Su Bai, who never retreated but advanced, and single-handedly crushed tens of millions of demon clans? Xiao Lanrua smiled loudly. The frustration that had been suppressed before disappeared at this moment. There never was before, and there won't ever be again in the future. There are so many demon killers in the human race. Su Bai only has one, but that's enough. Yang sighed. When he was born, he was praised by all the stars. This was the first time that he experienced what it meant to be ashamed of one's own filth. And this person is Su Bai. Boom click. Following the general trend, the northern city wall of Tianmen Pass was the first to be breached by the demon clan. Everyone, although Tianmen Pass has fallen, the demon slayer has not fallen. If there is no steel city wall, then build a new flesh and blood city wall. What's more, how can the vast human race that I have inherited for thousands of years be afraid of other demon races? Kill. Shui, whose talent is the auxiliary system, should have taken a back seat, but at this moment, he was the first to rush out. She is slender and petite, forming a sharp contrast with the huge monster in front of her. When all the demon slayers saw this, murderous intent suddenly burst out from their bodies. That's good, we are a vast human race, so why should we be afraid of other demon races? I don't know what to say, just kill the demon and that's it. If a woman is like this, how can I, a man of 7 feet, be able to retreat again? Brother, if you borrow the gun, I will put a few more monster heads on your grave one day. Kill. Night. Very long. The war is still going on. Su Bai couldn't remember how many demons he had killed or how far he had traveled. All he knew was that the speed at which the blood was absorbing cultivation was almost unstoppable. Bang! 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 At this time, dozens of arm-sized blood pillars suddenly appeared on the ground. One of these blood pillars was rooted in the blood pool, and the other was connected to Subai, continuously transporting cultivation. At the same time, a massive amount of spiritual power surged in, filling Subai's dry dantian. In just a moment, a maroon light appeared on his fair face. Whoosh! A sword with the superimposed conception of two swords was swung out, the void shattered, and tens of thousands of monsters were cut in half. However, Subai's full dantian did not get any relief. His eyes flashed, and he swung several swords in succession. But the squandered dantian was quickly replenished. And as the demon clan continued to fall, more and more spiritual power gathered, keeping him at the extreme point of bursting with spiritual power. System, add 500,000 points to the talent Blood Devour. Ding! Adding points is completed. The current blood phagocytosis level is S level 0/5 million. The next level is SS Blood Devouring, which can absorb 1/5 of the cultivation of the beheader, and the absorbed cultivation has a certain critical hit rate, crit rate 50%. In addition, there is a 1,000th chance of swallowing the slasher. The killer talent, the initial level of the swallowed talent is all E level. Blood Devouring upgrades, and the level of devouring is even greater. Subai couldn't suppress it and directly let go of the restrictions, allowing the boundless sea of cultivation blood to drown him. This guy, what is he doing? How come he has such a violent aura? On the city wall, Yi Rouge was dumbfounded after witnessing all this. Not waiting for her to figure out the situation, Subai's figure jumped out of the sea of blood. What followed was the azure blue sword light released from the Juxian sword. After this hit, most of the monsters around Subai were killed and injured, and the black mist dispersed, revealing a vacuum like a bloody abyss. This moment, he faced the sea of monsters, carrying countless pillars of blood transformed from his cultivation, and walked with his sword in hand, like a god of death who had stepped out of the Nine Netherlands. Under such circumstances, none of the monsters approaching him dared to step forward. Kill! Black mist surged and roars came out. The demon clan's eyes were about to burst when they heard this, and they rushed toward Subai without fear of death again. But soon, they were killed on the spot by Subai in a tyrannical manner. Phew! 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 Suddenly, 10 demon emperors and nearly 600 demon emperors jointly launched an attack on Subai. Such a large number of strong demon clan men took action together, directly turning the surrounding land into a vacuum. Subai was in the center of the attack, holding a sword in his right hand and a gun in his left hand. With the blessing of dual artistic conceptions, he blocked the attack in an extremely rough way. But he didn't notice that a figure as black as ink melted into the vacuum, holding a blood-stained short blade, and pounced towards him. Subai, don't you think, this time, I still choose to assassinate you in front of you? And it has the effect of the royal blood blade, so even if you are physically strong, you will definitely die. Chapter 42. My surname is Qin and my first name is Tianzhu. When all the powerful monsters joined forces to attack again, the young man flew out of the vacuum and approached Subai's face. However, what greeted him was the 3 Fuyao swords superimposed with double sword intent. The blue sword light was dazzling and bright, carrying the power of shattering the void, directly drowning the young man. Subai succeeded with one blow, and then landed several Fuyao swords one after another, without giving the young man a chance to breathe. But at this moment, a bloody ray of light exploded, followed by a bloody short blade that broke through the sword light and stabbed towards Subai. The speed is as fast as lightning. Subai noticed that the short blade was extraordinary and just wanted to avoid it, but found that his whole body was imprisoned and he could not move. Ha ha ha, Subai, this is the most precious treasure of our demon clan, the Emperor's blood blade. It is stained with the blood of more than 10 demon kings, and it has the power of rules. You are only a small person in the divine realm, how can you hide from it? Accept your fate, damn humans. The void repaired, revealing the young man's bloody body. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and was not in a hurry to heal his wounds. Instead, he stared at Subai, as if he wanted to witness him being killed with his own eyes. Die, human race. A second before the Emperor's blood blade approached Subai, the young man sneered. He had already envisioned Subai's death. But at this critical moment, a figure suddenly jumped out from the side and stood in front of Subai. Bah! The blade of the Emperor's blood entered the body, and the terrifying power exploded. Before the person could say a word, he fell into a pool of blood. How could it be? When the young man saw this scene, his eyes were horrified. Suddenly, he realized something and raised his head suddenly. The next moment, dozens of piercing sword lights roared towards him, drowning him. Ding! The host kills the Demon Clan X1 and gets 500 attribute points. Chin. Subai walked up to the visitor. Stop. I'll tell you one more time. My surname is Chin, and my first name is Tianzhu. You can call me Lao Chin, you can also call me Tianzhu, but don't call me Tianzhu, but don't call me my full name. Whoosh! Subai waved his hand, and countless spiritual power poured into Qin Tianzhu's body. The latter's pale face suddenly turned rosy. Subai, do you want to ask me why I risked my life to save you? Subai didn't speak, he just resisted the attacks from the surrounding monsters and looked at him calmly. No need to ask, I won't tell you. It's just that the situation was so urgent that I couldn't show off. Damn, I really wanted to show off. Being handsome is a lifelong thing. What a loss. Qin Tianzhu looked melancholy and took out his pockets tremblingly. Seeing this, Subai took out a cigarette and lit it for him. He narrowed his eyes and took a big sip, but it hurt his injury and caused him to cough up several mouthfuls of blood. No, it's not a loss. If I can smoke the cigarettes that Subai personally lit in my lifetime, my trip to this world will not be in vain. On this point, I'm better than Lao Xie. Even if I go down to find him, she can show off. Subai didn't speak. You're really cold and cold. For the sake of lighting up your cigarette, I'll give you another piece of advice. Be careful of people and monsters from the eternal era. After Qin Tianzhu finished speaking, he grabbed the spear beside him and stood up tremblingly. Subai went to help him, but he pushed him away. No matter what, I am still killing demons at Tianmen Pass. Even if I die, I will die on the way to kill demons. This be ***ch, I'm done pretending, I'll get in trouble with whoever's mother comes to stop me. Qin Tianzhu roared angrily and killed the Lingchuan realm monster in front of him with one shot. You beastly demon tribe, this is all you have? Come and kill me. He laughed and staggered forward with his spear on the ground. Come on, you beast, come and kill me. I've been angry enough in my life, here are a few more to let me vent my anger and show off my cool at the same time. NUF **GB************ D, can you give me a good talent in the next life? What kind of E-level precognition can only predict 10 years later, and only once every 10 years? Damn you for throwing coins. Bar. Whoosh. Another Lingchuan realm monster fell to the ground. Xie Chongkong, you are so G eloquent, I was even convinced by you. But you should open your G eyes and see. I can kill demons even if I'm about to die. Are you just pretending to be cool or not? What? Speak louder, I don't know why I'm so far ahead of you, can't I hear your voice? After killing several demon queens with difficulty, Qin Tianzhu finally fell to the ground. Seeing this, hundreds of demon clans around him swarmed up and quickly swamped him. But for a moment, these monsters were cut in half by a blue sword light. It didn't take long. Subai came to Qin Tianzhu. Behind him was Yi Rouge, who was holding a spear horizontally and with tears in his eyes. Subai, old man, I am handsome or not? Qin Tianzhu smiled miserably. Subai nodded. After 10 years, can you come here again and light a cigarette for me? Good. Ha ha ha, no loss, no loss, no loss at all, I'm making a huge profit. Qin Tianzhu laughed loudly. No one knew what he was laughing at. No one knows either. 10 years later, a supreme human race will come here to light a cigarette for a demon slayer from the Lushan realm. Qin. Yi Rouge covered her mouth. I will give you instructions again, once again. Qin Tianzhu looked at Yi Rouge, and before he finished speaking, he fell helplessly into a pool of blood. Su Bai didn't speak, silently picked up the Zhuxian sword and walked towards the demon clan. Immediately afterwards, among the monsters, the autumn water swayed like blue waves, and hundreds of sword lights bloomed like flowers. The thin back holding a long sword was like a bloody light spot, tearing apart the black mist sweeping the world. Master Demon Lord has ordered us to retreat. The black mist surged and roared. In just 10 minutes, the demon clan that had previously covered half of the sky had all retreated to the demon clan realm. Border staff of the logistics department, speed up the repair progress of the city wall. Say your name to the living demon slayer. In the control room, check the traces of the monsters inside and outside the pass. Don't leave any hidden dangers. Contact the mainland media to broadcast this winter demon tide. The demon killers from each garrison area march 10 miles outside the pass to intercept all demon clans. In addition, Su Bai, the hero of the human race who kills the monsters at Tianmen Pass, don't go looking for him, he will come back. After the war. Inside Tianmen Pass. Everyone performed their duties and did their work silently. Under the orderly restoration, the traces of the winter demon tide were gradually erased. The steel city wall is still the steel city wall it once was. It's just that everyone's face has a bit of unnecessary melancholy. Occasionally, someone would raise his head for no reason, but in front of him, there was missing that thin figure holding a sword. Just endless desert. Su Bai, I know you want to avenge Lao Qin, but please, you must come back alive, okay? Chapter 43 The Battlefield of Heaven. What on earth are you doing? Tianmen Pass has been breached, why are you still retreating? I also can't figure it out. Although Su Bai is strong, if our monster army swarms up, he will definitely die. What does retreat mean in a battle that has no suspense? I hope Demon Lord can give me an explanation this time. The sacrifice is so big and Tianmen Pass is so easy to reach. What's the point of retreating? Bold, how can you and the other little demons guess what the Demon Lord means? Isn't Emperor Mu Tian and Earth here yet? Within the territory of the demon clan. The Emperor's camp. Many demon kings gathered together, and they vented their inner anger with each other. Just then, a skinny old man with green hair walked in. Upon seeing this, all the demon kings hurriedly bowed and saluted. Emperor of Mu Heaven and Earth. The skinny old man had an expressionless face and glanced around sharply. Master Demon Lord has ordered that all the powerful demon emperors and above will gather here and march to the battlefield of heaven in 3 days. What, the battlefield of heaven? A demon king of the wolf demon tribe looked horrified. Emperor Mu Tian and Earth, are you serious about this? The battlefield of heaven has always been a battle that only monsters above the Earth Emperor level can participate in. How can we qualify? Could something happen on the battlefield of heaven? Mentioning the battlefield of heaven, the faces of all the powerful demon emperors didn't look good. Yes, something happened in the battlefield of heaven. The Emperor of Mu Tian and Earth said in a deep voice. But this change is beneficial to us. Currently, Lord Demon Lord has restrained the Commander-in-Chief of Tianmen Pass. The Earth Emperors and Emperors of the heavenly battlefield also have a great advantage. It is only a matter of time before we can capture this place. The reason why the Demon Lord ordered the retreat is to speed up the progress of the heavenly battlefield. The Demon Kings heard this and said nothing. The battlefield of heaven is more important to the human race and the demon race than the pass. It was established to isolate the celestial phenomena and avoid being spied on by the other party. In view of its special nature, the demon race and the human race have been the emperors of the earth for many years, and the strong ones above the god level have guarded here. As long as we break through the battlefield of the sky, learn the location of the human race, set up a teleportation array, and destroy the human race, it will be just around the corner. The demon king of a fox demon tribe said in a deep voice. I see. No wonder the demon lord will retreat at this time. Without further ado, everyone should be notified immediately. Once the battlefield of heaven is captured, our demon race will be able to march on a large scale. How can the weak human race stop it? I knew that the demon lord must have a reason for his actions. Emperor Mu of heaven and earth, I will send someone to inform you right now. Go. Mu Tiandi Emperor nodded. All the demon kings bowed and saluted. But when they looked up, they saw dozens of blue sword lights appearing out of thin air, drowning Mu Tian and Earth Emperor. It's human Su Bai, that guy is coming here. Damn it, leave quickly. Escape. All the demon kings fled in all directions. The demon king at the end suddenly felt a chill in his heart. Just as he turned around to take a look, his neck was wiped by the immortal killing sword. When his head fell to the ground, he saw a figure melting into the darkness, flashing in and out, chasing the next demon king. He wanted to warn him out loud, but his life was extinguished by a sudden ray of sword light. Ding! The host killed X-336 monsters and obtained 67,500 attribute points. An hour later, Su Bai came slowly in the darkness. In his hand, he was dragging a spear filled with demon heads. The spear is hundreds of meters long, and there are tens of thousands of heads on it, and each one is a powerful person above the demon king. Soon, on top of the spear, there are dozens more heads. Lao Qin, Lao Xia, let's go. Su Bai raised his head and glanced ahead, then turned around and walked towards Tianmen Pass. He didn't hide his whereabouts. But among the demon clan, no demon dared to step forward and block the way. Walked for a long time. Only then did he see the bleak and desolate desert. Not knowing what he thought of, he took out a cigarette and threw it here, then took out another and lit it. The smoke slowly cleared, and the Tianmen Pass in front of me became blurry again. But he didn't stop. Click. There was a sound of taking pictures in the front, and then a girl with a gun turned into a stream of light and came. Su Bai, you looked so handsome just now, but you were a little sad. It would be nice if you smiled. Yi Rouge shook the camera in his hand. She had been guarding the city wall, and rushed over as soon as she found Su Bai. Su Bai ignored her and kept walking. Hey, what is this? At this time, Yi Rouge noticed the spear in his hand. After seeing the demon head hanging behind her, her pupils shrank and she covered her mouth in shock. He didn't even notice that the snack bag he was holding tightly fell to the ground. Su Bai, welcome home. The water also turned into streams of light. When she saw the spear, she froze on the spot. She knew that Su Bai was very powerful and a powerful person at the level of God. But she didn't expect that Su Bai would kill so many powerful monsters when he left. Shui counted them roughly. There are nearly 1,000 demon emperors on the spear, more than 10 earth emperors, and more than 50,000 demon kings. This number basically corresponds to the number of strong men in this winter demon tide. In other words, Su Bai killed all the powerful monsters in this winter demon tide in less than 2 days. At this time, all the demon slayers from Tianmen Pass came out. When they saw the spear, everyone said nothing, but silently moved to both sides to make way for an avenue. But Su Bai stopped at this moment. Su Bai? What's wrong? Old. Just when everyone was confused, the artistic conception of Su Bai's sword burst out. In the blink of an eye, the passage leading to the Tianmen Gate suddenly sank dozens of centimeters. Whoosh! Before everyone could recover, Su Bai's spear shook, and tens of thousands of monster heads were embedded in the passage, becoming a new passage. After doing all this, he picked up his spear, stepped on the heads of the monsters, and walked into Tianmen Pass with an expressionless face. You're so damn handsome, Su Bai, well done. The heads of these beasts are just enough to pave the way for us. Chiao Lanrua burst into arrogant laughter after witnessing this scene. Beside them, the faces of the demon slayers were also flushed and their breathing was rapid. For them, killing a demon king is already a big deal. But now, because of Su Bai, these usually aloof demon kings, demon emperors, and even earth emperors can only be trampled under their feet. Su Bai. I don't know who roared. In an instant, everyone roared in unison. The word Su Bai resounds throughout Tianmen Pass. Principal, look at them, how energetic they are. These are the future pillars of our human race. Look at Zhang Hao from Class 3, Zhou Shiyu from Class 5, and Lu Ruoxue from Class 7. They have all awakened their A-level talents. I will become famous in the 8th grade and it will be just around the corner. 8th Middle School. The huge conference room was packed with seats. Principal Ji Hongwei looked at the group of confident and proud college entrance examination students with pride in his eyes. This class of number 8 middle school has the largest number of B-level talents among all previous classes. Soon, this group of college entrance examination students will make the name of number 8 middle school resound throughout the human race. It's a pity that Su Bai, who used to be the focus of the whole school, is only an E-level talent. Chapter 44 Lu Wanyue. On the rostrum, the white-haired old man wearing black-rimmed glasses sighed. He is Wei Wusheng, the head teacher of Class 7. Su Bai is the child he watched grow up and the genius he is proud of. But since his talent awakened and Su Bai went to the eastern border war zone, he had never seen him again. But every time he saw these high-spirited students, he couldn't help but recall those stubborn and resolute faces. Yes, Su Bai back then was truly amazing and talented, but it was a pity that fate had a way with people. The snow-white-haired dean also expressed emotion. Sai, with his E-level talent, he will probably die as a border monster slayer with a narrow escape from death. Well. When talking about Su Bai, many people's faces turned a bit gloomy. Who doesn't know about that former representative of number 8 middle school? Ahem. Ji Hongwei stood up to break the dull atmosphere. Students, you have passed the talent test. In the future, you will enter the university to practice and become powerful warriors and heroes who protect the human race. Just yesterday, I received a battle video from the Eastern Border War Zone about the Winter Demon Tide. I have not seen it, but I have experienced it there, and I know the horror of the Winter Demon Tide. In this swearing-in ceremony, I hope that with this heavy video, you will have a deep understanding that the so-called peaceful years are just because someone is carrying the burden for you. Also, there may be some shadow of Su Bai in it. Let's take a look together. Play the video. Click. The conference room lights went out. The projection screen then lit up. Soon, the screen expands. What caught the eye was the overwhelming crowd of tens of millions of monsters. This suffocating sense of oppression made the faces of the students and school leaders change. Soon, tens of millions of monsters descended on Tianmen Pass. On the Steel City Wall, the demon slayers were waiting in full formation. But when the picture was fixed on the thin hanging figure, everyone was stunned. It's Su Bai, someone exclaimed. With his body hanging in the air, has Su Bai become a 4th-level warrior? How could he, with an E-level talent, become a 4th-level warrior so quickly? It's an illusion, it must be an illusion. I also find it incredible. Besides, why does he have to guard 3 places while others only guard 1 place? I'm afraid Su Bai didn't take this picture to scare people. Not only the school leaders were shocked, but also the students in the audience started a heated discussion. Among them, there was a girl in a white dress, staring closely at Su Bai's figure without saying a word. Wan Yu, this must be fake, it doesn't look like Su Bai at all. Someone next to me made a sound. The girl looked at the screen blankly as if she hadn't heard anything. She knows. That's him. She won't admit her mistake. Kill. This time, the monsters on the screen launched an attack. They bitten and climbed up the city wall, but were constantly killed by the slain monsters. But in the process, Su-bai's figure never moved. The only broken sword made of stone kept shuttling back and forth, killing the monsters climbing over the city wall. I knew how could Su-bai, an E-level talent, be able to deal with these monsters without being frightened to death. I guess he is already dead. The person in this video is probably also Pied, otherwise he would not be scared to death. Why is he motionless when there are so many monsters? One student sneered. That's right, that's what I just wanted to say. I think so too. Agree. When he said this, many students also agreed. No one refuted, even Su-bai's class teacher Wei Wusheng just sighed. He also believed that Su-bai was sent to the border war zone after his death. However, for a warrior with E-level talent, being able to die heroically at the border is already a good ending. Su-bai, why don't you take action? If you continue like this, the demons you kill will not be able to catch up with me. At this time, a beautiful girl appeared on the screen. She held a lollipop in her mouth and waved her spear, looking heroic and heroic, like a female war goddess. Good guy, Su-bai actually found such a beautiful girl to cooperate with. What a beautiful girl, no worse than our college beauty Lu Wanyue. I really don't know how such a beautiful girl could become a demon slayer. It has to be Su-bai. He is so popular with girls wherever he goes, and he can show off his skills even if he is dead. Many students discussed it hotly. Only the girl in the white skirt looked a little lonely when she saw this scene. Wanyu, don't worry about her, you are the most beautiful. Who doesn't know that Lu Wanyue from class 7 is the school beauty of our number 8 middle school? Don't think too much. Su-bai is dead. These are just scripts directed and acted by yourself. Lu Wanyue didn't say anything. Just looked at the screen without saying a word. She knew that this might be a real script, or it might be a video of the demon killer P after Su-bai died. But she was inexplicably envious. She also wanted to use this girl's tone of voice to talk to Su-bai. But she tried hard for 3 years, but she still couldn't get into his life. Boom click. At this time, the garrison area of South 6th District was breached by the Demon Clan, and 2 people were killed in an instant. But soon, a strong demon slayer rushed forward to resolve the crisis. He looked at Su-bai angrily, and before he could finish speaking, he was attacked and killed by a demon king hiding in the dark. This is the real demon slayer. Su-bai is just a picture monster. I don't understand why he called Su-bai. This is a battlefield. If you are not careful, you will lose your life. Su-bai must have begged him before he died. This damn guy will drag others into trouble even after he dies. I cannot forgive Su-bai's actions. His actions indirectly killed a 4th-level warrior. All the students looked ugly, and many even rebuked loudly. Even the school leadership team frowned with heavy expressions. Su-bai is moving. This time. I don't know who shouted. Immediately afterwards, everyone saw the scene where Su-bai threw Tian-Ke. The disdain and contempt in their eyes turned into shock when the blood flower exploded. Whoosh! Principal Ji Hongwei stood up suddenly. It's that gun. It's that gun. Su-bai can actually shake that gun. No one knew what he was talking about, but at this moment, there was an uproar in everyone's heart. With one blow, 100,000 monsters were wiped out. Such power is really terrifying. Is this really an E-level talent? Su-bai moved and the demon clan died, which had broken the rumors in the P picture. Everyone knew that the person in front of them was the real Su-bai. But they couldn't believe it. How could the former E-level talent grow to such an extent in less than 2 months? In other words, Su-bai is really a 4th-level warrior now? Chapter 45 Then accompany him and become a demon slayer. One student broke the silence. Needless to say, Su-bai can fight in the air. This is the most typical 4th-level warrior. Another student replied. As highly talented people who are about to take the college entrance examination, the school has sorted out a complete martial arts system for them during this period. They are all familiar with the characteristics corresponding to warriors of corresponding levels. But how is this possible? Su-bai, he is just an E-level talent, recognized as a garbage talent. Someone questioned. This statement has been recognized by many people. But a new question comes: how to explain Su Bai's growth rate? No one knows. The conference room fell into dead silence again. Principal, do you still have Su Bai's talent awakening record? Wei Wuxiang said out loud as he remembered something. Awakening your talent is a big deal, not to mention Su Bai, who was once the face of my 8th middle school. Ji Hongwei clicked on a video on his phone and handed it to Wei Wuxiang. This is the process of Su Bai awakening his talent. As expected. After Wei Wuxiang read it, he returned the phone with a heavy expression. Unfortunately, our number 8 middle school really missed a genius. What do you mean? Ji Hongwei was confused. I took a look just now. After Su Bai awakened his E-level talent, he did not go to the dual talent awakening platform. In other words, Su Bai most likely has dual talents. Double talent. The surrounding school leadership team looked shocked. That's right. Only Su Bai's dual talents can explain why he has grown to this point in a short period of time. Wei Wuxiang's voice was not loud. But in the conference room where the drop of a needle could be heard at this time, everyone heard it clearly. What? Su Bai has dual talents? It's probably true. Su Bai is a shining proud man. If you think about it, it's not surprising at all that he has dual talents. On the contrary, it was his awakening of E-level talents that enabled him to truly unexpected. Su Bai, who is dual talented, is the peerless genius in everyone's hearts. In less than 2 months, you have broken through the wind control realm. Such a talent is rare even if you look at the human race. What is this if not dual talent? Once the news spread, many people expressed their opinions. No one questioned Wei Wuxiang. Because that young man's reputation as a genius was truly worthy of his reputation. And they are all witnesses. I knew it, I knew he was so good. Lu Wanyue murmured, her beautiful eyes covered with a layer of mist at some point. At this moment, she was crying but smiling. Smile very softly. It's like the spring breeze is coming, and you can see the willows and the moon. It's all my fault. It's because I'm an incompetent principal. It's me who made number 8 middle school miss a genius. Even with his eyes closed, Ji Hongwei could imagine how great the world's attention would be if a dual-talented person appeared in number 8 middle school. But now, Su Bai has gone to the border to become a demon slayer. He will not be able to come back in a few years. The college entrance examination is coming soon. If he misses this opportunity, he will never get the chance to enter the university. If we had found out earlier, we might have been able to persuade him, but he was already on the list at the border and it was too late. Wei Wuxiang sighed. If the border monster slayer wants to return to the mainland, there are only 2 ways. First, 3 years of killing monsters on the border. Second, the big shot takes action. The college entrance examination is approaching, time is tight, and I can't wait so long, so I am the first to be eliminated. Looking at the entire Dragon Kingdom, there will be no more than 10 people who can mobilize demon slayers. Number 8 middle school is just one of many middle schools in the Dragon Kingdom. It cannot come into contact with such people. The second one is also unrealistic. The 8th middle school owes Su Bai too much. This time, no matter what the price, I want him to come back and take the college entrance examination. Ji Hongwei spoke firmly. The school leader next to him wanted to say something, but he waved his hand to stop him. I know what you want to say, but don't say it. Leave this matter of Su Bai to me. I hereby assure you that if he does not show up in the examination room, Ji Hongwei will resign as principal. This time. Wei Wuxiang also stood up. Principal, we also want Su Bai to come back. It's not that we don't believe in your abilities. But what if Su Bai refuses to come back? Everyone knows that this child is very proud and stubborn. In my opinion, even if there is a chance to come back, he may not be willing to come back. The words fell. A girl suddenly stood up. She was wearing a white dress, reflecting the hazy light on the projection screen, like a fairy falling into the world. I'll go and persuade him. Under everyone's gaze, the girl opened her teeth lightly and expressed her thoughts. I don't agree, Wanyu, that place is too dangerous, you can't go. You are one of the few A-level talents in our school. You shoulder the heavy responsibility of revitalizing the school. Nothing can happen to you. Wanyu, you can't be impulsive. If Su-bai is gone from number 8 middle school, how can number 8 middle school get ahead if you don't exist anymore? I don't agree either. In the conference room, there were voices coming and going, all of which disagreed with Lu Wanyue's decision. She said nothing and turned to leave. Like him, she made a decision that no one could change. Wanyu, I know I can't persuade you, but have you ever thought about what if you can't persuade Su-bai back? Wei Wuxiang's voice came from behind, and Lu Wanyue's footsteps stopped. When looking back, she smiled sweetly. Then, accompany him and become a demon slayer. At the same time, videotapes from the Eastern Border War Zone were spread to all parts of the human race. Under the arrangement of Longgua's senior leaders, universities, middle schools, primary schools, and even kindergartens all organized and broadcast the show. Teacher Wani, this man is my brother. His name is Su-bai. Isn't he handsome? Tianqing Kindergarten. The little girl in a pink dress pointed happily at the TV screen. Wow, he is indeed handsome. Is he really your brother, Xiaoji? Yeah, brother Su-bai said he was coming to see me, but he hasn't come for a long time. Xiaoji misses him so much. The little girl held her face up and pawed at the screen with her chubby little hands. It seemed that he wanted to use the TV to pull the clothes of the thin figure. Xiaoji, wait a minute, your brother Su-bai is busy. He will come to see you when he has time, okay? A female teacher knelt down and comforted. Okay, it's not that Xiaoji is ignorant, Xiaoji just misses brother Su-bai so much. Brother Su-bai said that he will take Xiaoji to the amusement park to ride the Ferris wheel. Xiaoji likes the Ferris wheel. Okay, then will teacher Wani go with us then? The female teacher smiled and was about to pinch the little girl's baby face, but she avoided her. Teacher Wani, my face is only for brother Su-bai to pinch, no one else can pinch it, otherwise I will lose my temper. Okay, teacher, I won't pinch you anymore. The female teacher retracted her hand angrily and continued chatting with the little girl about the boy named Su-bai. Because only by talking to him, this silent little girl, would he pay attention to them. No one noticed. Not far from the window, a man in black was watching this scene coldly. Master Tang, the person has been found. Chapter 46 Commander of the 10th Army. Commander Guangming has an order to kill demons above the wind control realm and gather in the square. This day. The harsh announcement spread throughout Tianmen Pass. Not long after, dozens of streams of light leaped down, like meteors falling to the ground, attracting attention. TSK, a big guy from the wind control realm, walking in the air, is really pretentious. If he succeeds in his ambition to control the wind, he will ride on the blue clouds to make a surprise. It's not yet time to advance to the heavenly battlefield, and I don't know why Commander Guangming is here. You'll know just by looking at it. As soon as the announcement came out, in addition to those who were strong in the wind control realm, many demon slayers also came to watch the fun. Within a few minutes, most of the demon slayers gathered in the logistics department square. Su-bai is here. I don't know who yelled. The next moment, all the demon slayers stood on both sides in tacit agreement, revealing an avenue large enough for more than 10 people to pass. No one spoke, but every pair of eyes looked at Su-bai, who was slowly approaching. It wasn't until he walked into the team of wind-controlling experts that everyone heaved a sigh of relief. This guy is really proud of himself. The corners of Guangming Army commander's mouth twitched. Forget about him, the commander-in-chief probably hasn't even enjoyed such a big show. But he also had some doubts. This group of demon slayers who seek to survive on the edge of a knife are supposed to have bad tempers. Although Su-bai is strong, it's not like everyone will be convinced by him, right? Commander Guangming turned around and looked around at the powerful men above the wind control realm, and found that all of them looked respectful, and several of them were crowded together, just to leave a place for Su-bai. Among them, they even include Chiu Lanrua, Yang Tian and others who are well known in Tianmen Pass. What's going on? Even these geniuses recognized Su Bai's status? Commander of the Guangming army, Su Bai is now not only a demon slayer, but also a well-deserved god of war in our Tianmen Pass. It is not an exaggeration to say that he has faith. Yang Tian smiled bitterly. Agree. Nothing wrong. Well said. Many wind-controlling realm experts agreed. Huh? Commander Guangming was confused. Overwhelming the tens of millions of demons in the winter demon tide, entering the demon realm alone, picking off the heads of tens of thousands of demon kings, thousands of demon emperors, and more than a dozen earth emperors to pave the way. Isn't this a god of war? Isn't it faith? Shui explained aloud. Overwhelm tens of millions of monsters. Pick the heads of tens of thousands of demon kings and above to pave the way. The commander of the Guangming army changed his face when he heard this, and appeared on the road paved with the heads of the demon clan in the blink of an eye. Feeling the powerful aura released by these monster heads, he was extremely shocked. Was such a shocking move really done by a powerful person in the god realm? He couldn't believe it. But the artistic conception of the sword flowing on the heads of these monsters gave him no reason to question it. Commander Guangming walked back and forth on this road dozens of times. 10 minutes passed before he took a deep breath and straightened his clothes in front of the mirror transformed by his spiritual power. When he appeared in the square again, he was standing in front of Su Bai with a solemn expression. Kill the demon at Tianmen Pass, Su Bai. Your heroic performance in the winter demon tide this time is enough to be recorded in the history of the human race. Wang Guoguang, commander of the 10th Army in the Eastern Border Theater, hereby expresses his gratitude to you on behalf of the entire Tianmen Pass. Say it. Wang Guoguang bowed and saluted. For a moment, the whole place was silent. No one expected that Wang Guoguang, one of the top 10 military commanders, would be there. He actually did this great gift in front of all the demon slayers at Tianmen Pass. In the past, if such a scene happened, it would definitely cause a stir. But at this moment, no one present was surprised. Just because the person you are saluting is Su Bai. He can bear it. Su Bai. Su Bai. Su Bai. In the square, a burst of loud shouting suddenly sounded, which lasted for a long time. Well deserved. Su Bai helped Wang Guoguang up, and at the same time his sword intent emitted. The demon slayers felt this familiar aura and instantly became quiet. Not arrogant, not impetuous, not bad. Not bad. Wang Guoguang patted Su Bai's shoulder with appreciation. When he looked at the demon slayers again, his expression suddenly turned serious. Now the commander-in-chief is being held back by the demon lord. All the demon killers are locked in a deadly battle. The situation on the battlefield of heaven is critical. For the sake of the human race, all demon slayers above the wind control realm will follow me to the battlefield of heaven in 3 hours. Something happened on the battlefield of heaven? A look of horror appeared on Chiu Lanrua's face. Hearing this, not only him, but also many people around him turned pale. They are only in the wind control realm, but the minimum requirement for the battlefield of heaven is the divine realm. The arrival of Wang Guoguang this time shows that the situation above is serious and has reached the point of asking for help. We will arrange the specific matters later. You go and make some repairs first. We will gather here and set off in 3 hours. After Wang Guoguang finished speaking, he disappeared. These monster beasts are really annoying. We have just survived the cold winter and the monster wave is here again. Are there any people left alive? There is no way. The battlefield of heaven is more important than Tianmen Pass. You cannot lose it even if you die. Hey, what can we do with our little cultivation? Be used as cannon fodder. The military commander will have his own considerations. No matter what, he won't ask me to wait and die. Many of the demon slayers looked unhappy, and many of them had already gathered together and were preparing to form a team. But no matter how the flow of people changed, no one dared to approach Su Bai. Yang Tian glanced at him with some emotion, but quickly withdrew his gaze. It would have been fine if he was alone, but when the incident happened suddenly, all members of the Tiandao team were affected. As captain, he cannot leave his teammates alone and ignore them. Hey, little brother, do you want to form a team with me, Love Brain, and Sister Yao? At this time, Shui came over. Yi Rouge also grabbed the snack bag and poked his head out from Su Bai's side. Jean Shui, who do you think is a Love Brain? Don't you have enough people in your Rakshasa team? Big Bear and the others haven't entered the wind control realm yet, and they have been designated to stay at Tianmen Pass. Now our team is made up of me and Sister Yao. Oh, that's right. Yi Rouge shook his head, looked at Su Bai from the corner of his eye, and suddenly squeezed the snack bag a little tighter. Promise. Say yes quickly. As long as you agree, we will be a team. Your merit ring is Chang'an and mine is Chao Gu. Then the name of the team will be Ngu. No, Ngu doesn't sound very nice. Let's call it Changgu. This name is domineering and poetic. In the eyes of Yi Rouge and Shui looking expectantly, Su Bai shook his head and refused. Why don't you agree? We are not familiar with the battlefield of heaven, so we all have someone to look after us. Yi Rouge was like a deflated rubber ball, and the snacks he chewed with gusto became tasteless. Okay, let's form a team later. Although this result has been expected. But Su Bai's refusal without any hesitation still made Shui a little sad. Well, while there is still some time now, let me tell you about the situation in the battlefield of heaven. Chapter 47 Ancient Martial Arts Practice. Come on, tell me, are there any more delicious snacks there? Yi Rouge moved a stool and sat down. As if remembering something, she hurriedly stood up and moved the stool in front of Su Bai. Su Bai, sit down. Su Bai ignored her. I'm the one who wants to talk, okay? Shouldn't you sit down for me? Shui complained. You are too short, Shui, and you always call me a love brain, so I won't let you sit down, so I'm just going to sit down. Yi Rouge stuck out his tongue proudly. TCH, that's not rare. Shui Lu's eyebrows were raised, and the next moment willow branches surged on the ground, forming a chair in just a few seconds. Shiran sat down, and at the same time, she also got a chair for Nanyao and Su Bai. Wow, such a beautiful chair, Shui, I want to sit on it too. Yi Rouge's eyes suddenly lit up when he saw this chair. Who called me Shui just now? If I remember correctly, someone also called me Zaya Shuigu before, right? Whoever bullies you like this, tell me Shui, I will help you deal with him and beat him hard. Yi Rouge blinked his eyes and clenched his fists tightly, looking righteous and awe-inspiring. Love Brain, why didn't I realize you were so thick-skinned? I'm impressed by you. Shui twitched the corner of her mouth and raised her hand to make a chair for her. We. Yi Rouge sat down happily, swaying left and right, just like a curious baby. But after playing with it for a while, her attention returned to the snack in her hand. That's right. Shui put away her playful thoughts. Strictly speaking, the battlefield of heaven still belongs to the Tianmen Pass. It's just that the impact caused by the fight between the human race and the demon race was too great, so the strongest men from the two races joined forces to carve out a space as a boundary for the strong men to fight. Because this space is above the sky, over time, it became known as the battlefield of the sky. This is also the reason why there is no cloud or mist on the Tianmenguan city wall. You mean, the battlefield of heaven is actually above the steel city wall? Yi Rouge asked. Good. The battlefield of heaven is indeed above Tianmen Pass, but it is not limited to just above Tianmen Pass. The most accurate statement should be the area from the Demon Clan's Earth Emperor's camp to the sky above Tianmen Pass. Water Channel. But I don't understand why the Demon Slayer goes to the battlefield of heaven. Compared to Tianmen Pass, the threat coefficient of that place should be greater. Danger is often accompanied by opportunities. Although the battle in Tianji battlefield is cruel, the resources above are unmatched by Tianmen Pass. We can only exchange for A-level weapons and A-level martial arts at most here, but above, we can exchange for S-level or even higher level weapons and martial arts. So that's it. Surprise appeared on Yi Ruge's face. It's all in exchange for your life. After killing demons for so long, you just exchanged it for a B-level spirit-possessed weapon. You can imagine how expensive the things on it are. Shui said helplessly. But what attracts the most people above is the ancient martial arts practice. When practicing Kung Fu, don't we rely on our talent to practice? What does Kung Fu have to do with it? How can our vast human race, which has been inherited for thousands of years, not have some foundation? Otherwise, why do you think those ancient martial arts families have always produced outstanding talents? Shui smiled. It's not that their talents are better than ours, but it's because they have practiced Kung Fu since they were young. But for people like us who have no inheritance, only by finding a method that suits our own talents can we get twice the result with half the effort. So you are here just to find a technique to practice? Yi Ruge looked at Shui and Nanyao suspiciously. Nanyao didn't say anything, but Shui simply nodded in acknowledgement. That's right, otherwise you think it's necessary for me, an A-level talent, to come here and live a life of life and death? Oh, that's true. The border war zone is apparently the best way to obtain ancient martial arts training techniques. I hope that everyone can find a suitable training method for their own practice this time. After Shui finished speaking, he looked at Su Bai. Su Bai, be careful when you go up there. Someone might be targeting you. Who dares to target Su Bai? He has never died before. Yi Ruge gritted his teeth and shook his fist. Obviously, there are 3 people on the battlefield of heaven who are very likely to take action against you. Su Bai looked at Shui, waiting for her next words. The first one is Tang Hao, who is behind Tang Zhen. He is Tang Zhen's cousin, and he also wants Chang'an in your hands. The second one is Li Fengyi, the former captain of the Tianzhan team, who is also the boss of Duchen Feng. The third one is Ouyang Xiaoyao. I can understand the first 2, beating the younger one and the older one, but what the hell is this Ouyang Xiaoyao? Su Bai has no grudge against him, right? Yi Ruge frowned. Ouyang Xiaoyao, this man is handsome and pays great attention to appearance. He is nicknamed the most handsome man in Tianmengwan. But after Su Bai came, he became the second handsome man in Tianmengwan. With his character, he is very likely to have a crush on Su. It's hard to have gray hair. This person is also an A-level talent. It is said that he broke through the Linshan realm 5 years ago. Now, he may be close to breaking through the Qiongyu realm. Shui was silent. Qiongyu realm, this has reached the realm of the commander-in-chief of Tianmen Pass. Is this person so powerful? Your news is out of date. Commander-in-chief Qionyu's strength is apparent on the surface, and it has been decades ago. It is estimated that he has already broken through to a higher realm. As expected of the commander-in-chief. Yi Ruge said without realizing it. In addition, the commander of the 9th Army was killed in battle 3 years ago, leaving his position vacant. Ouyang Xiaoyao is one of the strong contenders for the position of army commander. There are many people who support him, both covertly and openly. So Su Bai, you have to be careful. Shui did not tell Su Bai explicitly about this news, but used a voice transmission to tell Su Bai alone. Thank you. Su Bai replied. Shui then told some news about the battlefield of heaven. When she stopped, Wang Guoguang had already appeared on the stage. This girl is right, Su Bai, you have to be careful about Ouyang Xiaoyao, this person is not simple. Wang Guoguang's voice came to Su Bai's mind. Thank you. If you have the chance, you can also strive for the position of commander of the 9th Army. Good. Come on, I look forward to the day when I can fight against the demon clan with you. Wang Guoguang smiled happily. Not long after. All monks at the wind control realm and above have gathered. Don't worry, when you go to the battlefield of the sky this time, except for a few people who need to fight against the strong monsters, the rest are only responsible for guarding. As soon as these words came out, many people breathed a sigh of relief. Now that everyone is here, let's go. With a wave of Wang Guoguang's big hand, a golden staircase slowly fell from the sky. This is the ladder to heaven, which is the passage from Tianmen Pass to the battlefield of heaven. Let's go. Everyone climbed up the ladder together. After walking a few steps, Yi Rouge suddenly turned back and looked at Wang Guangguang, who was motionless. Commander Guangming, aren't you with us? Chapter 48 Su Bai, I remember you. Let's go. Commander Guangming is one of the top 10 military commanders. He has the commander's order and can enter and leave the battlefield of heaven at will. Shui patted her little head. Let's go, Commander Guangming. Yi Rouge waved his hand, and Wang Guoguang watched them leave with a smile. After a group of people left, Wang Guoguang came to the road paved with demon heads and walked it over and over again. Hello everyone, I am Ouyang Xiaoyao, welcome everyone. As soon as Su Bai and others stepped onto the clouds, a man in white robe came with a sword. The gentle breeze stirred his long hair, making him look elegant and free. So handsome. Yi Rouge exclaimed happily. Huh, the little girl has good taste, but the word handsome is no longer enough to describe me. Now, I prefer others to call me a handsome man. Ouyang Xiaoyao smoothed his hair and struck a pose that he thought was very attractive. I haven't even finished speaking yet. What are you talking about in a hurry? Yi Rouge put his hands on his hips and took a hard bite of snacks. It's carefree and abrupt. I don't know what other words the girl is going to use to describe me. Is it Mao Saipanan? Is it romantic or suave, or is it handsome? No. Yi Rouge shook his head. I mean, although you are very handsome, you are still far behind Su Bai. Oh, really? Ouyang Xiaoyao's sword flashed under his feet, and he rushed to Su Bai in a moment. When he came with his sword, he noticed Su Bai, who was extremely handsome. Above the clouds, Ouyang Xiaoyao stared at Su Bai's face for a long time, and the smile on his face gradually solidified. He is indeed handsome, and he has the qualifications to compete with me, Ouyang Xiaoyao. And, you also use a sword? While talking, Ouyang Xiaoyao exuded a tyrannical sword intent, crushing towards Su Bai. Groan. Before Su Bai could take action, the Zhuxian sword was already unsheathed and emitted a blue sword intent, competing with Ouyang Xiaoyao's sword intent. The two swords collided, and their power was raging, but the void only rippled, not broken. This shows that the spatial intensity of the battlefield in the sky far exceeds that of the ground. Interesting, this sword is good, do you want to sell it? Ouyang Xiaoyao looked at the Zhuxian sword with undisguised fondness in his eyes. Su Bai ignored him and took the immortal killing sword with one move. At the same time, the sword intention on his body spread out, and the two sword intentions overlapped. Ouyang Xiaoyao's sword intention only resisted for a moment before being suppressed. At the critical moment, Ouyang Xiaoyao turned his sword around and barely blocked the blow. Very good. It seems that this generation of demon slayers are not all mediocre. Su Bai, you are very good. I, Ouyang Xiaoyao, will remember you. After Ouyang Xiaoyao finished speaking, he tiptoed and flew away with his sword. Everyone, I'm sorry, I was originally here to take care of you, but something happened at the last moment, so it's a step too late. Didn't Great Sword Master Ouyang make things difficult for you? This time, a middle-aged man wearing the costume of a demon slayer walked out from the side. Su Bai glanced at him and said nothing. This person just appeared now, it was nothing more than a greeting from someone else. But he is not interested in these. He just wants to kill monsters and earn attribute points. Uncle, you came at the right time. As for whether it's difficult or not, I think you're not blind. You should be able to see clearly. Yi Rouge bit the snack bag and said coldly. She could ignore others, but she was very unhappy when Ouyang Xiaoyao made things difficult for Su Bai. I think we shouldn't dwell on this issue. The top priority is to assign work first. The middle-aged man said helplessly. You said you don't have to worry about it. Do you really think that the regulations of the Eastern Border War Zone are just a decoration, or do you mean that Ouyang Xiaoyao can overstep the rules set by the Commander-in-Chief at will? Little girl, you are too serious. Seriously, are you just discussing the matter, or are you and him on the same side? Yi Rouge said coldly. I don't dare. It's just that you have just returned from Tianmen, and you don't know much about everything here. You'd better follow me to assign work first. Finished. The middle-aged man didn't give Yi Rouge a chance to speak. He turned around and disappeared into a stream of light. I'll kill. Nan Yao said expressionlessly, and followed this person along with everyone. Su Bai noted the direction in which Ouyang Xiaoyao left, and then turned to follow Nan Yao and others. Not long after, he came to a complex of buildings built above the clouds, similar in style to the royal palace, but much smaller in scale. On the gate of the palace, there are big characters, Heaven's Battlefield, written with flying dragons and phoenixes. Now, Yi Rouge and his group were standing in front of the gate. You have to pay 100,000 merit points to enter. Who made the rules? Don't go too far, our patience is limited, don't force us. Are all the demon slayers in the heavenly battlefield so arrogant? Who gave you the right to use public affairs for personal gain? Damn it! Su Bai fell down, and after Shui told him, he understood what happened. It turned out that they had lost track of the middle-aged man who was leading the way. When they found the place and were about to go in, a man walked out of the door and asked each of them to pay 100,000 merit points before they were allowed in. I said, 100,000 merit points per person, not even 1 point less will be enough. The visitor held a pitch-black spear in his arms and leaned lazily against the doorpost. But the surging artistic conception flowing through his body shows his cultivation at the peak of the god realm. Yi Rouge just wanted to make a theory, but Yang Tian stepped forward first. Brother, it's not good for you to do this. 100,000 merit points is not a small amount for us. How about changing it to 10,000 and 8,000, and we can treat it as friends? What do you think? No matter what, if one person is 100,000, if you lose 1 point, you won't be able to enter this door, I said so. Since you don't agree, let me teach you the clever tricks of the artistic conception master. The spear in Yang Tian's hand vibrated, and he swung out a spear technique. He knew that people with strong artistic conceptions were not simple, but the other party had bullied her to the point of not responding. Do you really think that he, Yang Tian, was a soft persimmon? However, the other party just moved the gun body, and the power of the artistic conception caused Yang Tian to be knocked down. At this time, a sword-wielding figure immediately jumped out, the long sword in his hand suddenly turned into a sword light, and went straight towards the person's neck. Whoosh! As soon as the visitor raised his gun, the aroused artistic conception immediately sent the figure holding the sword flying away. Sister Demon! Shui exclaimed and hurriedly caught Nan Yao as he flew out. Who else has an opinion? If you have no objection, just hand in the merit points. Otherwise, you won't be able to enter this door. The visitor held a spear in his arms, glanced at everyone, and continued to lean on the doorpost and fall asleep. This time, Su Bai walked up to him. Do you want to pay merit points, or do you want to fight? Chapter 49 Southern District 9. Su Bai didn't say anything. He clicked on the merit ring, and a series of numbers appeared. 8,847,071. More than 8 million merit points, which is much higher than I expected. Su Bai killed many demon clans in the Winter Demon Tide, and many people counted the merit points he earned. But no one has calculated the number shown on the merit ring. Such a quantity is really terrifying. With more than 8 million merit points, how many monsters will be killed? This is too terrible. All the demon slayers looked horrified. Not only them, but also the person who blocked the door, who had closed his eyes to meditate, also opened his eyes at this time. As both a strong man in the Linshan realm and a sword cultivator, he knew that Su Bai was quite strong, but he didn't expect that he could produce so many merit points. In Tianmen Pass, the main way to obtain merit points is to kill monsters. Generally speaking, the number of demons killed is directly proportional to merit points, and strength is directly proportional to the number of demons killed. In other words, the number of merit points can represent the person's strength to a certain extent. Su Bai has more than 8 million merit points, so you can imagine how strong he is. How many do you want? Su Bai spoke calmly. The person who blocked the door stared at the more than 8 million merit points with hesitant eyes. After a while, as if he had made up his mind, he turned sideways and chose to give way. Slaying demons at Tianmen Pass, guarding the heavenly battlefield, late stage of Linshan realm, Wang Zhanyuan. Su Bai didn't say anything and walked in expressionlessly. Su Bai is strong enough. He can leave, but you can't. 100,000 merit points, not one less. Wang Zhanyuan stopped Yi Rouge and others who wanted to go in. I'll pay. At this time, Su Bai's voice came over. Wang Zhanyuan's face darkened, and after thinking for a moment, he still chose to give way. Su Bai, if you have such magnanimity, you must not be a stingy person. I, the King Zhanyuan, will obey you. I despise those who harm our compatriots the most in my life. Someone sent me a message and told me that you were killing your compatriots indiscriminately, so I launched an attack here. But now it seems that this was all a misunderstanding. Who said that? Yi Rouge frowned. I don't know. The other party's sound transmission method is extremely good and they didn't leave any clues. Wang Zhanyuan glanced at her. So, when the other party says this, you believe it? I don't believe it, I just judge right and wrong in my own way. Facts have proven that the other party was wrong. Wang Zhanyuan turned to look at Su Bai. This embarrassment is my King Zhanyuan's fault. I don't like to apologize, but I will make up for it in my own way. Su Bai, I can do 3 things for you without touching the bottom line. No need. Su Bai shook his head. Whether you use it or not is your business, but whether you do it or not is my business, Wang Zhanyuan. If you have any instructions, just say hello. After Wang Zhanyuan finished speaking, he turned and left. This guy really has a personality, but he's also really strong. Fortunately, he didn't make a killing move, otherwise I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to take 3 moves. Yang Tian walked over holding his arms. He is very strong. Nan Yao acknowledged. I'm sorry, everyone, I suddenly felt anxious just now, so I walked a little faster. I didn't expect that such a thing would happen again. I'm really sorry. Since everyone has nothing to do, come with me to assign work. The matter is urgent and there can be no further delay. The middle-aged man who disappeared earlier appeared out of nowhere. Yi Rouge was just about to say something when Shui pulled him behind him. Then please excuse me, thank you very much. It's easy to talk. We are all demon slayers. No need to be polite. My name is Jinchengxi. I am mainly responsible for controlling the new arrivals in the heavenly battlefield. There will be many opportunities to deal with you in the future. You can just call me Lao Jin. The middle-aged man said while walking in the air. In just a few minutes, he led everyone to the demon-slaying hall. This hall is located in the center of the heavenly battlefield. The interior is very spacious, but except for a white light group in the middle, there are no extra decorations. New demon slayers must leave a roster here. It's very simple. Just place the merit ring around the white light group. Say it. He put the merit ring close to the white light group, and his basic information quickly appeared on it. Name, Jincheng West. Position, Captain of the Heavenly Battlefield Guard Team. Just like me. Jinchengxi stopped his hand, and the information on the white light group disappeared. I'll try it first. Yi Rouge carefully put the merit ring up. The white light group surged for a while, and a few lines of small words swept out. Name, Yi Rouge. Position, Guardian of the Heavenly Battlefield. It has been inspected and there is nothing wrong with it. Let's go quickly. Yi Rouge retracted his little hand. Everyone saw this and lined up to complete the roster entry. But when it was Su Bai's turn, the text displayed on it was different from the others. Name, Su Bai. Position, kill demons on the battlefield of heaven. What's going on? Why is Su Bai's information different from ours? Yi Rouge looked at Jinchengxi with an unkind expression, put away the snack bag, and put his little hand on the spear at some point. Ahem, I forgot to tell you that strong men who have broken through to the god realm, unless ordered by the commander-in-chief or army commander, must take the position of demon slayer. The middle-aged man chuckled. Why didn't you say such an important thing earlier? I suspect you did it on purpose. Isn't it because the war situation has been severe recently? I forgot about it. It's my problem. I hope everyone can understand. You. When Yi Rouge heard this, his spear glowed sharply. If Shui hadn't stopped him in time, he might have killed him. Shui, why are you stopping me? This guy is obviously trying to trick Su Bai. I will never let him go. Yi Rouge said angrily. Shui patted her head and said something, which made her walk to the corner with a depressed look. Ahem, this place is not as relaxed as Tianmen Pass. Captain Ji is busy with his affairs, and we all understand. But we are new here and don't know much about this place. I wonder if Captain Ji can provide some precautions for the battlefield of heaven. Shui turned back and smiled. Hey, if you don't tell me, I really can't remember it in my head. Here are the things to note. Everyone has one copy. Let's get familiar with each other and go to guard the spot. I've circled it for you above. As for Su Bai, you need to go out to kill monsters. I have also marked the area you are responsible for. Jincheng West waved his hand, and dozens of notes flew out, each hanging in front of the demon slayers. Su Bai took it and took a look. This note is very simple, only the battlefield of the sky is responsible for the area map. There are 10 districts in total, and the one marked for him in the west of Jincheng is the 9th district in the south. This is too rough, there is nothing, not even a mark on where the material exchange office is. Chapter 50 The Artistic Conception of Wind. It's really too simple. It can't be as detailed as Tianmen Pass. What's the use of this? Just mark one responsible area and leave the rest behind? Can you please also indicate the current situation of each heavenly battlefield? The demon slayers kept looking at the precautions, and their brows furrowed deeper and deeper. This was the first time they had seen such a perfunctory brochure. If we weren't in the battlefield of heaven, I'm afraid many people wouldn't be able to help but curse. Everyone, it's enough. You'll get familiar with me in a while. I still have things to do, so I won't accompany you anymore. You can get familiar with me again and head to the responsible area in an hour. After the middle-aged man finished speaking, he turned into a stream of light and left the place. Damn it, we need to go to the responsible area within an hour. It's quite a rush. Yi Rouge chewed snacks angrily, and the precautions issued by Jincheng Shi had been torn into pieces by her. It's okay for us, we are right here, but Su Bai is so far away from here, how can 1 hour be enough? As soon as Yang Tian finished speaking, everyone looked at Su Bai in unison. If you ask me to tell you not to go, the worst-case scenario is that we will go to the army commander and ask him to come over and make a decision. Qiu Lanrua said coldly. Better say goodbye. Shui sighed. The other side is powerful. The fact that they dare to tease us so blatantly proves that their background is not simple. What we can do now is to seize the time to improve our strength. The last word is to have a big fist. Said. Shui looked at Su Bai. Su Bai, I suggest you get there within half an hour now, or go there in a few hours. They only give you such a short time. I suspect someone is setting a trap for you. Su Bai nodded and left. Since everything has been set, Shui, why did you ask him to come over? Isn't this a sheep entering a tiger's mouth? Yi Rouge was confused. What you think of is something that others cannot think of. If Su Bai doesn't go, he may have fallen into another trap of theirs, and the consequences may be even greater. This is a conspiracy. If Su Bai goes, it's a trick. If Su Bai doesn't go, it's also a trick. Forehead. It's all a trap, so what's the difference between going or not going? Yi Rouge scratched his head, somewhat confused about what Shui meant. If you go, you might be in danger. If you don't go, you will be a deserter. I don't need to tell you the punishment for deserting. How dare they? Why don't you dare? Shui sneered. Do you think it's really that simple for these guys who came up from Tianmen Pass to kill? Then Su Bai, isn't it dangerous? That's not entirely true. On the contrary, I think it is the best choice for Su Bai to go there. Why? Because when he goes there, he will mainly deal with demons, but if he stays here, he will have to deal with humans. Sometimes, humans are much more difficult to deal with than demons. Indeed. Yang Tian nodded thoughtfully. Furthermore, no matter what, we should believe in a powerful man in the God realm who can crush tens of millions of monsters with his own strength. Open the personal properties panel. Host, Su Bai. Cultivation, late stage of God realm 2368 212/3 million. Can add points. Attribute points, 6,039,472. Physique, 580,396, body of all things. You can add points to achieve a qualitative change when your physique reaches 5 million. Spirit, 8,237, extremely smart. You can add points, and your spirit will change qualitatively when it reaches 50,000. Talent, pure sword heart, S-level blood bite 0/5 million, S-level dark knight 0/5 million. Can add points. Impression, E-level swords artistic conception 0/150,000. Can add points. Martial skills, C-level sword skill, Fuyao 3 swords, proficiency, ultimate, A-level group injury sword skill, autumn water, proficiency, ultimate. Cannot add points. Weapon, Pseudo-S, Juxian sword, attributes, A-level sharpness 0/500,000, E-level Juxian sword intent 0/150,000, S-level hardness 0/500,000, Juxian sword formation, missing, 0/800,000, Juxian sword body, damaged, 0/2 million, Juxian sword spirit, missing, 0/2 million. Can add points. During the Winter Demon Tide, in order to hunt down the demon clan, Su Bai upgraded his talent Dark Knight to S level. The proficiency of A-level mass injury sword skills has also reached perfection in this process. System, increase your cultivation level by 631,788 points. Ding. Add points and complete. Ding. The host has reached the point of breaking through to the spiritual realm. Should the host choose to break through directly, or continue to understand the artistic conception? You mean, if I don't choose to break through directly, I can still continue to understand the artistic conception? Back to the host, it's like this. What is the use of continuing to understand the artistic conception? Back to the host, the next realm behind the Linshan realm is the Qiongyu realm. The main feature of this realm is the realm of artistic conception. A single artistic conception can only transform a field with a single element. If it has multiple artistic conceptions, it can transform multiple fields, or even combine multiple fields into one to form a superimposed field. Having multiple fields close to you means you can avoid the opponent's field restraint, and superimposing fields can double the power of the field. Can I only choose one of the two options? Yes, host, once you choose to break through, the artistic conception of the sword will be transformed into the realm of the sword. After that, you cannot comprehend other artistic conceptions, but if you choose to continue to comprehend the artistic conception, you can comprehend the artistic conception as long as you step into the breakthrough node. No restrictions. Moreover, if the host does not want to continue to understand the artistic conception and directly chooses to break through, all the artistic conception obtained will be converted into the domain. Continue to understand the artistic conception. After thinking for a while, Su Bai made a decision. Ding. Please tell the host the artistic conception you want to understand. The mood of the wind. Ding. Successfully comprehended the artistic conception of wind. The system prompt sounds. A strong wind blew up on Su Bai. The wind was raging, and the surrounding void was twisted. At the same time, the resistance in front of Su Bai decreased, and his speed in the air increased a lot. What used to be a minute's journey can now be completed in 5 seconds. System: the artistic conception of the sword will add 150,000 points, the Zhuxian sword will add 150,000 points, and the artistic conception of wind will add 150,000 points. Ding! Adding points is completed. The current level of the artistic conception of the sword is D level 0/500,000. The current level of the Zhuxian sword intention is D level 0/500,000. And the current level of the artistic conception of the wind is D level 0/500,000. The level of artistic conception increased, Su Bai's whole body was filled with sword intent, and his air control speed increased a lot again. Whoosh! The Zhuxian sword was unsheathed, and the azure sword intent filled the air, circling around Su Bai. System: the Zhuxian sword will add 2 million points. Ding! Adding points is completed. The current Zhuxian sword body has been repaired. The prompt tone fell, and a ball of blue light enveloped the Zhuxian sword. When he reappeared, the sword body of the Zhuxian sword had been repaired. Groan! The Zhuxian sword made a slight sound and stood quietly beside Su Bai. I will not break my promise to you. This is just the beginning. Chapter 51: The Artistic Conception of Confinement. Su Bai gently stroked the stone sword and then waved it in the air. With the blessing of the three artistic conceptions, the sword light cut through the void, leaving a vacuum black line on the sky. It wasn't until the artistic conception was removed and there was no power to maintain it that the void was gradually restored. The power of this sword was even greater than the collision between his swords and Ouyang Xiaoyao's. It can be seen that the superposition of three artistic conceptions is powerful. Call out. The sword of killing immortals returns to its sheath. A golden light curtain appeared in front of Su Bai. Note: it is marked on the map that this is the safety cordon of the human race's battlefield in the sky. It can move back and forth with the concentration of the monster's aura, playing a foreshadowing role. Passing through this light curtain, you can enter the demon-slaying area of the heavenly battlefield. There are 5 districts in the north and south of this place. The North District is numbered from 1 to 5, and the South District is numbered from 6 to 10. The South 9th District is the second largest demon-killing area in the South District, located on the right side of the light curtain. Su Bai's mission is to prevent a demon clan from breaking through this area. The offensive of these beasts has increased again. Tang Hao, follow the plan. South 8th District. Ouyang Xiaoyao forced the demon clan in front of him to retreat with a sword, and retreated towards the South 9th District without slowing down. New. However, the ugly words are ahead. If you get your hands on Chang'an, which I want, then don't blame me, Tang Hao, for not giving me face. A voice came from the merit ring. What kind of magic power does this thing have? It's just a merit ring. Is it worthy of your Tang family's persistence? Ouyang Xiaoyao's eyes moved slightly. It has nothing to do with you. I'm not surprised if you give it to me. All I want is Su Bai's face. Okay, hurry up and lure this group of monsters over, don't waste time. Are you so sure that Su Bai will definitely come here? Ouyang Xiaoyao asked. He will definitely go, it's just a matter of time. I don't need to say more about the fate of being a deserter, right? 2. Ouyang Xiaoyao smiled. But I have inquired and found out that this guy is not weak. 50 Earth Emperor Demon Clan may be a bit small. What's the meaning? What I mean is, go bring some more over. Isn't the guy from the Ape Demon Clan here recently? Let him go and meet Su Bai for a while. Good. Think for a moment. Tang Hao's voice sounded from the merit ring. However, the action is a little more subtle. Although the 9 army commanders and the commander-in-chief are all restrained, they must be just in case. I know that. Ouyang Xiaoyao sneered and swept his sword across, attracting dozens of demon clan emperors. Not long after, he came to the South 9th District. As soon as the Earth Emperors of the demon tribes followed him here, they were imprisoned in place by several spiritual chains emerging from the clouds, unable to move. If it weren't for the help of the territory left by the 9th Army commander, it would be really difficult for you to stay here obediently. In 15 minutes, when Su Bai comes here, these beasts should be out of trouble. Ouyang Xiaoyao sneered and disappeared into a sword light. At the same time, in another direction of South 9th District, a man holding a heavy hammer appeared here. Behind him, there were also dozens of demon Earth Emperors bound by spiritual chains. The Ape Demon Clan, the royal family among demons, are the ones who can use their innate magical powers. Su Bai, if you meet him, be prepared to die. The Chang'an merit ring can only be mine. Tang Hao then disappeared on the spot. Within a few minutes, Su Bai appeared here. Damn human race, let us go out and use other people's realms, what kind of heroes are we? Looking at you, you should be a pretty boy among the human race, a guy with no courage. How dare you give me a fair fight? Human race, let me go out. I promise you that I will not come to this area. Let me go out. The spiritual power around the demon clan emperor's body rioted, and he struggled to escape. But there is a mysterious energy that always imprisons them in place. But looking at the situation, they will be out of trouble in about 10 minutes. This time difference is exactly the time point when Su Bai came here before he understood the artistic conception of the wind. If he had traveled at the same speed as before and arrived here, when his spiritual power was exhausted, he would have just met a group of demon clan Earth Emperors who had escaped from trouble. Such behavior made it clear that someone wanted to kill him. Tell me who brought you here, and I'll give you a chance for a fair duel. Su Bai looked at these demon clan emperors. Okay, seeing as you are a human being, I will tell you that the person who led me here is a guy with a heavy hammer. A demon clan emperor said coldly. What does it look like? So. With a wave of the demon clan Earth Emperor's big hand, a figure of a young man holding a heavy hammer condensed in the void. Su Bai looked over. This person's eyebrows are somewhat similar to Tang Zhen's, so he must be his cousin, Tang Hao. Okay, human race, I have told you, please release me immediately. Su Bai didn't say anything. He took the long sword and with the blessing of 3 artistic conceptions, there was soon only one demon clan Earth Emperor left. Human race, you don't keep your word. The remaining demon race Earth Emperor said angrily. However, what answered him was the sword light swung by Su Bai. Ding! The host killed X-23 monsters and obtained 11,500 attribute points. Su Bai didn't wait for the cultivation to be absorbed, the artistic conception of the wind surged, and soon appeared at another border of the South 9th District. Here, he also discovered a group of monsters trapped here. Following the same pattern, he learned Ouyang Xiaoyao's information. Ding! The host killed X-27 monsters and obtained 13,500 attribute points. This time, Su Bai did not leave, but sat here cross-legged, absorbing all his cultivation. The huge cultivation level gathered by these demon clan Earth Emperors pushed him to the peak of the God realm again. There is only a slight difference before you can enter Cheongyu realm. Ba! 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 This time, several pillars of cultivation blood came from the sky and poured directly into Su Bai's body. Ding! The host has reached the point of breaking through to the spiritual realm. Should the host choose to break through directly, or continue to understand the artistic conception? Understand the artistic conception. Ding! Please tell the host the artistic conception you want to understand. What was the power of the Southern 9th District to imprison these demon clan emperors before? Returning to the host is a force of imprisonment that remains here. Is this field transformed from the artistic conception of imprisonment? Su Bai asked. Yes. Okay, then I understand the artistic conception of imprisonment. Ding! Successfully comprehended the artistic conception of confinement. Swish! 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 Bursts of light flickered, and spiritual chains emerged from Su Bai's body one by one, surrounding the surroundings, as if to imprison the world. The vision quickly disappeared, and these chains turned into masses of spiritual power and melted into Su Bai's body. Su Bai's eyes moved slightly, and the next moment, several chains flew out, forming a closed space with him as the center. With the artistic conception of confinement, he can confine most of the matter in the space with just a thought. However, the confinement duration cannot last too long and can only last for a few seconds. Su Bai then became familiar with the artistic conception of confinement here, and then waved his hand to remove this space. Boom click. Chapter 52 The Realm of the Magic Stick. At this moment, a sudden change occurred. I saw several spiritual chains suddenly flying from the South 9th District, and wrapped Su Bai in them very quickly. Within a moment, these spiritual power chains melted into Su Bai's body. Bah! Su Bai's body shook, and hundreds of spiritual chains flew out, quickly covering half of the southern 9th District. With a thought in his mind, the spiritual power, clouds, and fog in this half of the southern 9th District were all imprisoned in place, unable to move. Even the void that was previously difficult to contain was blocked by a mysterious force at this moment, unable to circulate normally. Really? Su Bai felt this mysterious power, his eyes flashed. The reason why he chose the imprisoned artistic conception was because he wanted to gain closeness to the imprisoned realm here. Thus, to a certain extent, the domain capabilities here can be obtained. Turns out, he was right. Now, with the integration of the confinement domain here, his imprisonment artistic conception has not only been upgraded to level A, but also has a trace of domain power attached to it. Such a situation not only greatly increases the scope and power of the imprisoned artistic conception, but also plants the seeds for transforming it into understanding. As long as you concentrate on understanding, it is only a matter of time before the imprisoned artistic conception completely turns into the imprisoned realm. System: if my imprisoned artistic conception is transformed into a realm, will I directly enter the Cheongyu realm? Back to the host: no, as long as the host still has an area where the artistic conception has not been transformed, it is still within the scope of the immortal realm. Under normal practice conditions, only when the realm rises can one master the unique abilities of the higher realm. For example, only those who are strong in the wind control realm and above can control the air and fight in the air. Those who are in the lower realm will not be able to achieve this step independently unless they break through to this realm. But now, the meaning of the system is that Su Bai is in the immortal realm. As long as he understands the field, he can use the field abilities that can only be mastered by strong people in the Cheongyu realm. At the same time, he can also comprehend many artistic conceptions and fields without limit. This operation is simply full of bugs. If things go on like this, he will definitely be invincible among those at the same level. Moreover, you can also become invincible if you cross a higher level. This moment. Even though Su Bai was in a peaceful mood, when he thought of this, his heart was surging and difficult to suppress. It took a long time for him to calm down the rolling waves in his chest. Whoosh! Su Bai took back the chain that covered half of the sky in the southern 9th District and looked at this place. Tang Hao, have you sensed that there seems to be turmoil in the restricted area of South 9th District? Above the clouds. Ouyang Xiaoyao's mind moved and he looked at Tang Hao who was rushing in the air. It should be those demon clan emperors who broke free from the confinement realm. Tang Hao said coldly. While talking, he glanced back. They saw a young man in white robe holding a long stick, chasing after them. Probably. By this time, Su Bai should have arrived in the South 9th District. I really want to see how he, who is depleted of spiritual power, can resist the pursuit of 50 demon emperors. Ouyang Xiaoyao smiled. This person is not simple. He must have some means of saving his life. He should not be underestimated. Oh, so what if he has the means to save his life? I don't believe that he can escape the pursuit of this powerful man from the immortal realm of the ape demon clan. You know, this guy is a strong man who has comprehended 10% of the power of the domain, and he also possesses innate magical powers. Even if you and I face him, it will be a bit difficult for him. He is a small person in the divine realm. Facing this ape monster, I'm afraid there are no 3 moves. Ouyang Xiaoyao sneered. If the 9th Army Commander's remaining domain is still there, he still has a chance to escape. However, during this period, the power of this domain has been consumed a lot by us. After these demon clan emperors broke away, 80% of this domain has dissipated. Without domain restrictions, Subai would have no chance of surviving when facing this ape monster alone. Tang Hao nodded in approval. Human bastards, you two don't even dare to fight each other. You are such cowards. Stop it for me. Don't you humans even have the courage to face me directly? Rear. The young man in white robe holding a long stick shouted angrily. Tang Hao and Ouyang Xiaoyao heard that the speed of their words was a little faster. Period. Ouyang Xiaoyao even made monkey moves frequently. When the young man in white robe witnessed this scene, his teeth were itching with hatred, and violent spiritual power even emerged from the long stick in his hand. You bastards of the human race, when this emperor captures you, I will cut your corpses into thousands of pieces, and your souls will be lit, and you will never be able to escape forever. Damn monkey, come here. Ouyang Xiaoyao smiled disdainfully and acted like a monkey fishing for the moon again. Ah! Damn human bastards! I will tear you apart with my own hands. The boy in white robe turned red with anger, and his speed suddenly increased a lot. But this time, Ouyang Xiaoyao and Tang Hao have entered the boundary of South 9th District. As soon as they entered here, they saw a young man in black costume standing here holding a sword. His expression was calm and his eyes were cold, as if he had been waiting for them here for a long time. In front of him was a row of neatly arranged heads of the demon clan Earth Emperor. How is that possible? Tang Hao's eyes were horrified. He had thought that Subai could survive. But he didn't expect that Subai was unscathed when faced with the siege of 50 demon clan emperors. This time, Ouyang Xiaoyao's eyes moved and he quickly glanced to one side. Subai, didn't you say you wanted to find a monkey to make monkey wine? Now that we have brought this ape demon over, you can figure it out. As soon as he finished speaking, he crushed the black transparent ball in his hand and disappeared directly. Upon seeing this, Tang Hao also crushed a ball and disappeared. The two of them are extremely fast, and they are both covered with domain power. The confinement area Subai arranged on the boundary of South 9th District did not leave the two of them behind. Human B******************, D, you actually want me to make monkey wine for you, who gave you the courage? The two disappeared, and the boy in white robe vented his anger on Subai, holding a long stick and hitting his head without any explanation. Subai's expression changed, and hundreds of spiritual chains suddenly appeared, entangling the white-robed boy's feet. But in less than a second, the boy in white robe broke free from his imprisonment and came over to kill him. Bang! The Zhuxian sword made of stone sword collided with the long stick. Violent power was released, and the surrounding void became distorted. The two were instantly separated. Subai didn't move where he was, but the boy in white robe took thousands of steps back. Human race, I didn't expect your body to be so strong. You are worthy of my seriousness. After the white-robed boy finished speaking, his body and long stick were instantly covered with a mysterious aura. With your cultivation in the Linshan realm, and dying under the realm of my emperor's magic stick, you are enough to leave a name in the history of the human race. The young man in white robe held out his stick, and countless stick shadows appeared. In just a few seconds, they had covered Subai's 50-meter radius. Subai's pen stood erect under the shadows of countless sticks, like a mayfly, as if it was about to be blown away at any moment. Die, human race. Chapter 53 Ape Demon Diamond Body. The young man in white robe pressed down his palm, and the stick shadows fell from the sky with a snap of his fingers. The surrounding void is subject to this pressure, like a page of transparent paper, constantly twisting and shrinking. Subai was in the center of the field, but the changes around him didn't seem to affect him. He stood on the same spot from beginning to end, without moving a single step. With such great pressure, there is no movement. How can this human race be so strong? The young man in white robe was shocked, but his hand movements were not slow at all. In just a few seconds, the 50-meter-wide area of the magic stick had completely covered Subai. But what surprised the young man in white robe was that even with such a distance and carrying the entire field, Subai still didn't make any movement. The human race is under the suppression of this emperor's full strength, but you don't escape, you are so arrogant. Do you know that although I only understand 10% of my domain, it is equivalent to 40 to 50% of ordinary monsters? The white-robed boy roared. Su-bai looked at him calmly, unmoved. Human race, how dare you ignore me like this? You really offend me, please die. Su-bai's attitude greatly frustrated the young man in white robe. With a ferocious face, he put his hands together and pressed down, killing everyone in the magic stick field. Click click. The void could not bear this power, and cracks opened. Soon, it affected Su-bai. But all the visions suddenly stopped around Su-bai. The void cannot strangle, how can such a weak human race have such a physique? The young man in white robe was extremely shocked by the scene before him. As the field pressed down, his expression relaxed slightly. Because he saw that the void at Su-bai's feet had been affected. Just then, Su-bai turned his wrist, and the Zhuxian sword suddenly bloomed with a blue sword light. The sword light was extremely penetrating, and it pierced many phantoms of the magic stick in the blink of an eye. However, when it touched the edge of the field, it was suppressed back. Oh, how is it possible that the weak human race wants to shake the Emperor's domain with just the artistic conception of a sword? The boy in white robe sneered. Before he could finish his words, a blue sword light erupted from the Zhuxian sword again. The two sword lights merged into one, directly piercing a gap in the realm of the magic stick. There are two artistic conceptions, one is yours, and the other is this sword's, human race. Unfortunately, you are still a little weak. The young man in white robe made a seal with his hands, and his spiritual power surged out, filling the area and suppressing the sword light. At the same time, he suddenly exerted force and compressed the area to 1 meter in front of Su-bai. Such terrible pressure exploded Su-bai's shirt, revealing his fair and thin body. That's it, humans, die. The realm of the divine stick is heavenly. Swish. 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 One after another, the phantoms of the magic stick flew out from the magic stick field and smashed towards Su-bai. The power of the domain attached to it made Su-bai feel a wave of heart palpitations before he even got close. Such power has surpassed the attack level of A-class possessed weapons and can pose a threat to him. At the moment, he stopped testing, held the long sword horizontally, and the artistic conception of wind came upwards. Under the gathering of 3 artistic conceptions, he smashed the shadow of the magic stick that came forward with one sword. 3 realms of artistic conception, how is this possible? The boy in white robe was shocked. It is recorded in ancient books that a creature can only master 2 artistic conceptions at most. One of them is still attached to the weapon. And there are mutually exclusive reactions between artistic conceptions. He has never seen anyone who can combine the 3 artistic conceptions so harmoniously. Such a situation has broken the inherent record in the history of the Demon Clan. Even in the Demon Clan's holy book, the Eternal Records, he has never seen it. Whoosh! At the moment when the boy in white robe was stunned, the blue sword light shined brightly. Su-bai swung his sword, and the realm of the magic stick was instantly annihilated. At this moment, a huge gap appeared in the solid void of the heavenly battlefield. 1 person, 4 realms of artistic conception, how is this possible? There is no record of it throughout the ages? The boy in white robe had red eyes and looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. Eons of era? Su-bai heard these words again. Human race, don't even think about trying to find out the news from this emperor. You have mastered the 4 artistic conceptions. I consider myself invincible. If we meet again one day, I will cut you into pieces. The boy in white robe finished speaking and ran away. Su-bai had a thought in his mind and chased after him. He was very fast and soon caught up with the white-robed boy. Whoosh! The long sword was swung, and the azure sword light carrying 4 artistic conceptions was instantly slashed out. Before the boy in white robe could react, a bloody wound appeared on his back. He spit out a mouthful of blood, did not dare to stop, and continued to escape despite his injuries. But how could his speed compare to Su-bai, who had understood the artistic conception of wind? In less than 5 minutes, several wounds appeared on his body one after another, and one of his arms and legs was removed. At this point, even though he is a member of the ape demon clan with tenacious vitality, the white-robed boy is still weak and his speed has dropped significantly. Su Bai followed unhurriedly, and raised his hand to wave out several sword lights. The remaining hands and feet of the white-robed boy were also chopped off. Suffering such a heavy blow, he fell directly above the clouds. Just as he was about to get up, the Zhuxian sword in Su Bai's hand was placed across his neck. Human race, you can't kill me. My emperor's uncle is in the surrounding void. He is the demon emperor who controls the entire territory. If you dare to kill me, he will definitely kill you. The boy in white robe shouted in horror. Tell me about Eternal Era and let you go. Su Bai looked at him calmly. Ha ha ha, human race, don't even think about it. Even if I, Emperor Yuan Tian, die, I will never betray the demon race. Also, do you really think that with your strength, you can really kill me? Whoosh! A golden light suddenly exploded in front of his eyes, and then a huge force came from the Zhuxian sword, knocking Su Bai back hundreds of steps. When he stabilized his body, Yuan Tian, who had previously lost his hands and feet and was severely injured, had recovered his hands and feet, exuding bursts of golden light. The aura it exudes is several times stronger than that in its previous heyday. Human race, if you force this emperor to use his magical powers, I will definitely eat you alive to make up for the thousands of years of life I have spent on you. You claim to have a strong physique. This time, I want you to see that under the magical power of the ape demon clan of my emperor, the ape demon diamond body, your body, which has been painstakingly tempered, is nothing. As he spoke, Yuan Tian's long stick disappeared and he directly chose to fight Su Bai physically. Call out. The Zhuxian sword is sheathed. Su Bai waved his fist and collided with the speeding Yuan Tian. There was a loud bang sound, and terrifying power erupted from the two fists. Such power directly shattered the void, revealing a dark vacuum zone. The two figures separated again. Su Bai still stood where he was. However, Yuan Tian was sent flying backwards by this blow and retreated thousands of steps. Impossible, this is impossible. This emperor's ape demon clan is one of the top 10 demon clans. The ape demon King Kong body has supreme magical power, which can enhance the body hundreds of times. How could I lose to you? Human race. Chapter 54 Killing Immortal Sword Formation. This situation was beyond Yuan Tian's expectation. As if he thought of something, his expression changed drastically. Human race, you didn't use all your strength before? Su Bai didn't say anything, and took the Zhuxian sword. With a wave of his hand, hundreds of Fuyao sword lights that blessed the four artistic conceptions appeared, drowning Yuan Tian's figure. Human race, you cannot kill this emperor. Golden light scattered around Yuan Tian's body, offsetting the blue sword light. But what followed was an endless stream of sword light. Final. The golden light on Yuan Tian's body was annihilated, cut into pieces, and exploded into a cloud of blood. Ding! The host kills the demon X1 and gets 5,000 attribute points. Who dares to kill my nephew Yuan Tian? Bah! The void opened, and a giant figure filled with golden light came out. His bell-sized eyes glanced around, and when he saw Su Bai, he couldn't help but raise his huge fist and hit Su Bai hard. As the fist passed by, the power of the realm it carried surged into the sea, and the solid void in front of it was like paper, shattering into pieces. Sarakaze, stop it. Kingdom light emerges from the void. But the distance he was at was too far, and the monkey wind's attacks were extremely ruthless and fast. Even if he directly used the power of the domain to rush on, it would still be too late. He could only watch helplessly as the fist that destroyed the world submerged Su Bai. Sarakaze, if you dare to kill him, I will destroy my domain today and ask you to be buried with him. Coming to the Qiongyu realm, even if Su Bai was an unparalleled monster, Wang Guoguang didn't think he could survive such an attack. At this moment, Wang Guoguang directly sacrificed his domain, preparing to die with him. But what he didn't expect was that Sarafeng's fist did not fall, but stopped above Su Bai. He thought it was Yuan Feng throwing a rat weapon, but the next moment, the power of Yuan Feng's fist increased sharply. At the same time, a heart-stopping force exploded, directly annihilating the void for thousands of meters in radius. Boom click. There was a loud bang. Sarakaze took a step back with an ugly expression. In front of him was Su Bai, who had taken thousands of steps back. How is this possible? Su Bai is only at the immortal realm, but he actually made Yuan Feng, who is at the peak of Qiongyu realm, take a step back. How can his body be so strong? Other side. Wang Guoguang, who witnessed this scene with his own eyes, froze on the spot. He originally thought that Su Bai would die from this punch, but he did not expect that Su Bai not only did not die, but actually withstood the punch. You know, this is a powerful blow from the Demon Emperor at the peak of Qiongyu realm. Moreover, this is under the premise that the other party has used the magical power Ape Demon Diamond Body. Human race, with your cultivation in the God realm, you can actually withstand a blow from me. With such talent, you are truly a monster. You will pay a heavy price today, and I will definitely kill you. Yuan Feng roared angrily, and instantly appeared at Su Bai's side with his fist raised. Su Bai punched him, used the force to retreat, and kept leaning towards Wang Guoguang. A strong person at the peak of Qiongyu realm, his artistic conception is completely transformed into the power of the realm. Although Su Bai was physically strong and mastered the 4 artistic conceptions, he could only resist and was no match for him. Sarakaze, stop it. At this time Wang Guoguang also reacted. He opened up the realm, escaped into the void in the blink of an eye, and blocked Sarakaze's heavy punch. At the same time, he used the power of the domain to send Su Bai behind the light curtain. Su Bai, are you okay? Wang Guoguang's voice came from the merit ring. Fine. Just now, Su Bai and Sarafeng exchanged 2 punches, and only the surface of the body was cut with hundreds of wounds by the power of the domain. But this is not a big problem for him who has a body of all things. Moreover, Kingdom Light had wiped out the power of the realm in his body when he teleported him, and now he only needed to adjust his breath for a while to restore it. That's good. By the way, didn't I arrange for someone to pick you up? Why haven't you even activated the merit ring call function? Also, why did you come here? Didn't I arrange for you to go to the South 3rd District, the smallest area? Who asked you to come here? Wang Guoguang's tone relaxed. Su Bai didn't answer. He closed his eyes and sat cross-legged to adjust his breath. I understand, but dignity is something you have to fight for. The 9th Army Commander selection will be held in 1 month. There was silence for a while. The voice of Kingdom Light came from the ring again. By the way, a girl came to Tianmen Pass, her name is Lu Wanyue, and she said she came to see you. Do you want to talk to her? Lu Wanyue. Su Bai thought of the figure in a white dress. Come to your senses. He refused expressionlessly. Well, you can come back from your injuries and continue to guard the South 9th District. As long as I keep this guy in check, he won't be able to take action against you. But it's getting dark soon. During this period, the Demon Clan is coming fiercely. If you can't hold it back, you have to retreat. The Commander-in-Chief said that our bottom line is the battlefield of heaven. Good. Half an hour later, Su Bai recovered from his injuries. Open the personal properties panel. Ding. Host, please look at the big screen. Host, Su Bai. Cultivation, mid-stage of God Realm 1 103 234/3 million. Can add points. Attribute points, 2,987,639. Physique, 1,103,396, body of all things. You can add points to achieve a qualitative change when your physique reaches 5 million. Spirit, 25,034, extremely smart. You can add points, and your spirit will change qualitatively when it reaches 50,000. Talent, Pure Sword Heart, S-level Blood Bite 0/5 million, S-level Dark Knight 0/5 million. Can add points. Artistic Conception, D-level Sword Artistic Conception 0/500 000, D-level wind artistic conception 0/500,000, A-level imprisonment artistic conception 0/5 million. Can add points. Martial skills, C-level sword skill, Fuyao 3 swords, proficiency, ultimate, A-level group injury sword skill, autumn water, proficiency, ultimate. Cannot add points. Weapon, Pseudo-S, Juxian sword, attributes, A-level sharpness 0/500,000, D-level Juxian sword intent 0/500,000, S-level hardness 0/500,000, Juxian sword formation, missing, 0/800,000, Juxian sword body, damaged, 0/2 million, Juxian sword spirit, missing, 0/2 million. Can add points. System, the cultivation base will be increased by 1,896,766. Ding! The host has reached the point of breaking through to the spiritual realm. Should the host choose to break through directly, or continue to understand the artistic conception? Understand the artistic conception. Ding! Please tell the host the artistic conception you want to understand. The mood of the gun. Ding! Successfully comprehended the artistic conception of the gun. Call out. As soon as Tian-Ke was taken out, he felt the gunfire surrounding him and immediately started to tremble. Su Bai held the spear in his hand and waved it a few times, no longer feeling unfamiliar. System, Juxian sword formation will add 800,000 points. Ding! The Juxian sword formation has been repaired, and the current level is E level 0/2 million. Juxian sword formation. Chapter 55, Knowing one's heart and one's nature. E-level Juxian sword array, a large array set up with the Juxian sword as the center of the array. The area of the array is 10 miles in radius. Anyone who steps into the sword array will be attacked by 5 sword rays attached with the Juxian sword intent every breath. Note, Juxian sword cannot be used when setting up a sword array for the formation I. The sword array is maintained by Juxian sword absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. The surrounding spiritual energy of heaven and earth is endless. Juxian sword is not restricted and the sword radiance is endless. In addition, the level of Juxian sword intent is higher than the higher the value, the more powerful the Juxian sword formation is. The sword light emitted by the Juxian sword intent can easily kill a strong person in the wind control realm with just one stroke. One breath in the sword array can release 5 sword rays. If a strong person above the Linshan realm breaks into it, even if he is not killed instantly, he will still have to face the attack of 5 sword rays of killing immortals within about 3 seconds of one breath. This intensive attack is difficult to resist continuously. If there are still people attacking and killing in secret, it is tantamount to certain death. The reason why Su Bai chose this sword formation was to kill monsters on a large scale and earn attribute points. But he didn't expect that this immortal killing sword formation would be so domineering. Combined with the imprisoned artistic conception he now masters, the S-level talent Dark Knight. As long as the opponent's domain has not been converted to more than 70%, he is fully confident in killing him in this formation. System, mental bonus 24,966 points. Ding! Add points to complete, current spirit is 50,000. Ding! The spiritual attribute has reached 50,000, and a qualitative change has occurred. Congratulations to the host for obtaining clear mind and nature. Clear the mind and see the nature, enlightenment and conduct are greatly improved, and enlightenment will get twice the result with half the effort. When the notification tone fell, Su Bai's mind suddenly became clear. The proficiency in the 2 sword skills has reached the highest level, and at this time, there is also a new understanding. However, he did not study it in detail, instead closing his eyes to comprehend the artistic conception of imprisonment. He had already obtained a trace of domain power before, and based on this, it was not difficult to comprehend it. In just half an hour, he transformed 30% of the confinement areas. Whoosh! When Su Bai opened his eyes, hundreds of spiritual chains spread out from his body and merged into the Juxian sword formation. With a thought, he transformed into a spiritual clone and entered it. Swish! 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 In an instant, hundreds of spiritual chains imprisoned the clone, and before it could react, several rays of blue sword light killed it. At this time, the sun sets and night falls. Su Bai held the Tian-Ke spear and walked into the Zhuxian sword formation with an expressionless face. Emperor Mu Feng, the southern 9th district still retains the confinement domain power of the 9th Human Army commander. Do we really want to attack from here? The maximum amount of domain power we can convert is only 50%. Facing the domain power of the human race commander level, I'm afraid it will be difficult to resist. How about changing the area? Indeed, there is something evil about that place. I'm afraid the remaining power of the domain is extremely terrifying. Emperor Mu Feng, it is related to whether we can break through the battlefield of the human race as soon as possible. I hope you will think twice. Above the clouds, more than 1,000 demon clan Earth Emperors gathered here. The enveloping aura of arrogance stirred up a wave of fishy wind and black mist like a roiling frenzy. Oh! The eyes of the demon clan emperor standing at the front were filled with blood. The surging aura spread out, and it turned out to be the peak Earth Emperor who had transformed 60% of the domain's power. Under the suppression of the power of the domain covering several miles in radius, the emperor who had spoken previously fell silent for a moment. I have already inquired about it. In the southern 9th district, the domain power left by the 9th commander of the human race is about to dissipate. And because of the existence of this power, there is no human guarding this area. So, as long as we work together to break the remaining domain power, we can march straight in and storm the battlefield of the human race. By then, we will be the heroes of the clan, equipped with all kinds of martial arts and martial arts. Maybe we can also get a look at the legendary Holy Book of the Demon Clan. The Holy Book of Monsters. Hearing this name, many demon clans breathed a little heavier. But, Earth Emperor Mu Feng, what if there are really human beings guarding here? An Earth Emperor said solemnly. Guard? Mu Feng sneered. Now all the major border war zones of the human race have been contained by our demon race, and it is impossible for foreign aid to come. A strong human being at the level of commander of the Tianji battlefield has been dragged down by the emperor of his clan and cannot escape. Wait, what do you have to worry about? Without a strong man at the level of a military commander, who among the human race in the current battlefield of heaven can resist more than 1,000 Earth Emperors? Unless they have formations to help them, how can the human race, which has lost its inheritance, have such a large-scale murder weapon? Formation. Hearing these two words, many demon clan emperors trembled and showed fearful expressions. As strong men of this level, they have already come into contact with some secrets of the demon clan. Among them, there is a formation that is said to have the most lethal range. According to records, there was a time when a strong man from the demon clan set up a large formation to trap and kill the demons in one fell swoop. Such a terrifying achievement is unforgettable for every Earth Emperor who has seen it. Fortunately, this kind of thing is in the hands of our demon clan. Otherwise, coupled with the human race's nuclear weapons, our demon clan would be in danger. Another Earth Emperor sighed, and all the Earth Emperors nodded in agreement upon hearing this. Also, don't you want to kill Su Bai? Do you remember the conditions set by the Demon Lord? Mu Feng said solemnly. The Demon Lord said that those who can kill Su Bai can be transformed with the blood of the royal family. If they join the Demon Royal family, they can get a view of the Demon Clan's holy book, eternal records, and can enter the Demon Clan's heaven prison tower to choose 10 items. Many Earth Emperors yelled with fanatical eyes. Then what are you waiting for? Su Bai is already a strong man in the God realm, and he is probably on the battlefield of heaven now. The human race has lost its inheritance and has no formations. It cannot pose a large-scale threat at all. Moreover, they do not dare to use nuclear weapons now. This moment is the best opportunity. As soon as Mu Feng said these words, all the Earth Emperors' eyes turned red and their spiritual power surged. Yes, the human race has lost its inheritance. Let alone formations, they don't even have better martial arts and martial arts. How can they fight with us? Without the threat of formation nuclear weapons, my more than 1,000 Earth Emperors are enough to sweep across the human race's battlefield of heaven. Let's slaughter this weak human race together. Kill Xiangnan 9th District, kill the human Su-bai, and find the demon lord to receive the reward. Follow me, and together we will break through the southern 9th District and kill the heavenly battlefield. The monster clan left in a fierce manner. Not long after, they arrived at the outskirts of South 9th District. I didn't sense the power of the confinement field. The field here has dissipated. Kill. All the demon clans swarmed forward and broke into the South 9th District. But the scene that appeared in front of them made their eyes dizzy. This is my fellow demon clan member. Damn human B*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** race. They have the aura of the power of the imprisoned domain on them. They should have been killed by the human race using the power of this domain. No wonder the power of this domain has been eliminated so quickly. Emperor Mufeng, are you still going forward? I suspect this is a trap set by the human race. Chapter 56 Thunder, Ice and Wood. South 9th District. The Demon Clan emperors saw the rows of Demon Clan heads, with ferocious faces and majestic killing intent. Their sacrifices were not in vain. Because of them, we don't have to be distracted from dealing with the power of this domain. Mufeng said solemnly. Then Emperor Mufeng, which direction should we head at this time? Emperor Yi asked. Since all our compatriots have explored the road, the area where their heads are located must have lost the power of the domain, so we will enter from their direction. Mufeng's body was filled with domain power, and he took the lead to reach the position of the Demon Clan's head. Upon seeing this, all the monster clans hurriedly followed. After a while, more than 1,000 Demon Clan Earth Emperors all arrived here. As soon as they arrived here, many Earth Emperors grabbed the heads on the ground and stuffed them into their mouths to chew. Emperor Mufeng, this head contains the power to imprison the domain. Although it is not of the same origin as us, it can be refined into pure domain power, and our compatriots are full of blood. Eating it can enhance the blood. An Earth Emperor held up a pieced-together head and handed it to Mufeng. Mufeng felt a familiar aura. When he took the head and turned it around, his whole body froze in place as if struck by lightning. How about it, Emperor Mufeng? I have good taste, right? This is the most energetic head here. The Earth Emperor smiled. I'm sorry, My Majesty. Are you blind? This is the Ape Demon Royal Family's ape sky. Do you dare to eat it? Mufeng immediately threw the head back. The Earth Emperor held Yuantian's head in his hands and looked at it, his face turned earth-colored for a moment. He looked around and finally respectfully put the head back in its place. Before leaving, he even knelt on the ground and kowtowed several times in a decent manner. Don't waste time, kill it. Mufeng roared angrily, and just as he was about to move, several blue sword lights suddenly flew out of the darkness. With a cold expression on his face, he waved his big hand, and the power of the domain was washed away, blocking these sword rays. This sword light is Su Bai. Just as Mufeng was about to make a move, hundreds of spiritual chains emerged from the clouds and wrapped tightly around him. Before he could break free, several sword lights appeared out of thin air around him. Damn it! On one side is the sharp sword light, on the other side is the power of the confinement field. Mufeng knew that it would not be good to drag on like this, so he immediately used 60% of his domain power. Hiss! Violent power exploded, and the spiritual chains that imprisoned him instantly shattered. He did not hesitate and decisively chose to retreat. But he didn't notice that a figure melting into the darkness was standing behind him holding a spear. Whoosh! Before Mufeng could react, a spear pierced his body. The violent force carried on it directly blasted him thousands of meters away. At the same time, the blue sword light came one after another, giving him no chance to breathe. But even so, he still relied on the power of 60% of the field to stabilize his figure. But the spear on his chest was like a big mountain, making him unable to stand up straight. He could only hunched over to deal with the sword light and spiritual chains around him. At this moment, a young man with a cold expression suddenly appeared, pulled out a spear and punched him in the head. He felt his eyes go dark, and just as he was about to stand upright, the silver spear was poured into his head. But before he died, he still sent a cryptic message. Ding! The host kills the demon clan X1 and gets 500 attribute points. System: if I remember correctly, the last time I killed Yuan Tian, I gave him 5,000 attribute points, right? Back to the host, Yuan Tian is a member of the demon royal family. As long as the host kills the demon royal family, the attribute points obtained can be increased tenfold. New. Su Bai held the spear and blended into the darkness, continuing to look for the next target. These demon clan emperors are physically powerful, and many of them are strong men who have transformed into several realms. The immortal killing sword formation and the confinement domain with 30% of the domain's power alone cannot kill him in a short time. He still has to make up for it. Half an hour later, Su Bai killed the last demon Earth Emperor. Ding! The host killed X-1024 demons and obtained 512,000 attribute points. Swish! 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 As soon as the system prompt sounded, thousands of cultivation blood pillars came from all directions. Seeing this, Su Bai sat cross-legged on the ground, devouring and refining these cultivations. As time went by, his cultivation attributes increased higher and higher, and soon reached the critical point of breakthrough. But these cultivation levels have not been exhausted yet, and they penetrated into his body without stopping. Not long after, his fair cheeks turned as red as blood, like water dripping from his eyes. Ding! The host has reached the node X3 of breaking through to the spiritual realm. Should the host choose to break through directly, or comprehend the three artistic conceptions? Understand the artistic conception. Ding! Please tell the host the three artistic conceptions you want to understand. The artistic conception of thunder, the artistic conception of ice, the artistic conception of wood. Ding! Successfully comprehended the artistic conception of thunder, the artistic conception of ice, and the artistic conception of wood. Boom click. Su Bai's body burst into brilliant thunder, followed by frost, cold air and wood's vitality. Him at this moment. Under the monstrous thunder, behind him are the opposing ice and wood. Excuse me, Senior Wang, how far is the South 9th District from here? Under the stars and moon. The two streams of light rushed towards the golden light curtain. Soon. Wang Zhanyuan said quietly. However, you suddenly want to see Su Bai. Is there something wrong? Someone asked me to bring him some words related to his college entrance examination. Shui on the side looked a little anxious. That's it. A glimmer of understanding flashed in Wang Zhanyuan's eyes, and his speed suddenly increased. Shui on the side hurriedly followed. Get off at full speed. The two soon arrived at the boundary of South 9th District. At this time, Wang Zhanyuan suddenly stopped here. Shui flew to the side without knowing why. As soon as she raised her head, she saw Su Bai hanging in the midst of thunder, with half of it surrounded by cold ice and fog, and half of it surrounded by lush greenery. The two are like wings, protecting him from the thunder in the sky. And under his feet was the corpse of a monster clan, whose flowing blood had dyed the clouds for miles around red. The visual impact brought by such a picture made Shui feel huge waves in his heart. Can't calm down for a long time. It wasn't until the vision subsided and Su Bai fell above the clouds that she came back to her senses. If I guessed correctly, the vision just now should have been the simultaneous presentation of three artistic conceptions. Wang Zhanyuan spoke seriously. Shui's beautiful eyes trembled slightly, and she also saw this. But she knew. In addition to these three artistic conceptions, Su Bai also has his own sword intention and the sword intention attached to his sword. That is to say, now Su Bai alone has mastered 5 artistic conceptions. And there are 3 more artistic conceptions that I just realized today. You guys, is something wrong? Chapter 57 Hall of Merit. She's looking for you, it's none of my business. Wang Zhanyuan left for other places. Shui explained Lu Wanyue's purpose in a concise and clear manner. After hearing this, Subai shook his head and refused. He had no reason to take the college entrance examination. It's good to stay here and continue killing monsters to earn attribute points. But Subai, to participate in the military commander selection, you need to be at least a quasi-college student. If you don't participate, you won't have a chance. Water channel. Then I won't comment. But if you don't select the army commander, when Ouyang Xiaoyao, Tang Hao and others come to power, they will definitely attack you. Then. Shui's face turned a little heavy. Fine. Ouyang Xiaoyao and Tang Hao roughly transformed 90% of the domain's power. Being in the battlefield of heaven, possessing 8 realms, 1 domain, and the immortal killing sword formation, Subai was already qualified to resist them and was not worried about them coming to trouble. Can. Shui wanted to say something else, but when the words came to her lips, she just sighed helplessly. She knew that she couldn't persuade Subai. Shui, I heard that you went to find Subai. While the two were speechless, Yi Ruja's voice came from Shui's merit ring. Yes, I'm in South 9th District now. Shui replied. Then you inform Subai that he has called and ask him if he wants to come over and take a look. I'm behind the security cordon now. I originally wanted to go over there, but they said there would be no signal after here. Tell him I'll wait for him here. Good. Shui looked up, but only saw Subai's figure leaving quickly. He walked in the air, avoiding the air currents around him, and disappeared in the South 9th District in the blink of an eye. So fast, not even within a minute, right? This way. Yi Ruj had just torn open a pack of snacks and had not even taken 2 bites when she saw Subai speeding towards her and stopped in front of her. Telephone. Oh. Yi Ruj hurriedly handed it over. Subai took the phone and dialed back, and the call was quickly answered. Brother Subai? Brother Subai, I won first place again today. The teacher said that we performed very well this time and will take us to visit the number 8 middle school college entrance examination. But I am not happy because Brother Subai did not praise me. But when I think about meeting Brother Subai soon, I feel very happy. Brother Subai, can you take me to ride the Ferris wheel then? Xiao Ji had a dream yesterday. In the dream, she and Brother Subai rode the Ferris wheel together. Brother Subai, are you okay? Good. Yeah, it's settled. The sweet cheers of a little girl came from the other end of the phone. The two chatted for a long time. But mostly Xiaoji was talking and Subai was listening. Brother Subai, be good, eat well, sleep well, and practice well. You are the best. Xiaoji wants to see you get first place in the exam. Good. Well, and, Brother Subai, have you forgotten something? Xiao Ji came first in the exam, which is awesome. Hehe, I knew Brother Subai would never forget to praise Xiao Ji. Brother Subai, go to bed now. Don't stay up late. Good. But, Brother Subai, Xiao Ji really misses you so much. Tianqing Kindergarten. Dormitory campus. The little girl hugged the hung-up phone tightly and stared out the window. It seems that he wants to find a familiar figure through this dimly lit street. Hey, this weird uncle in black appears again. This way. As soon as Subai returned the satellite phone to Yi Ruj, Shui rushed over. Subai, Senior Wang is guarding there now. If you are fine, go to the Heavenly Battlefield Hall of Merit and have a look. There are many good things in it. Yes, there are really a lot of good things inside, and there are hundreds more kinds of snacks than the Tianmengwen Material Exchange Office. Yi Ruj agreed with bright eyes. Upon hearing this, Shui patted his forehead helplessly. This mess. Is there nothing else in your head except Subai and food? I took a look. There are 5 floors in the Hall of Merit, but each floor requires a specific number of merit points to enter. I only looked at the first 2 floors, but the things inside are more diverse and complete than those in Tianmen Pass. In addition, I found out that there is a sword skill book on the 4th floor. It is said to be very powerful, but the price is very high. It is said that Ouyang Xiaoyao is saving merit points to redeem it. You can take advantage of it first. Su Bai nodded. The A-level mass injury sword skill, Autumn Water, is not very lethal to monsters above the Earth Emperor level, while the C-level sword skill, 3 Swinging Swords, is quite powerful. However, due to the limitations of the realm, if you want to double your own strength, the spiritual power stored in the Linshan realm is only enough to be used twice, which is not cost-effective. He really needs to exchange for new sword skills now. By the way, this is the detailed version of the notes I found. The information about the battlefield of heaven is introduced above. You have time to take a look. Shui handed over a brochure. Su Bai accepted it. After parting with the two of them, he flew to the Hall of Merit in the heavenly battlefield. This place is similar to the Tianmengwen logistics department. Whenever the demon clan retreats, many demon slayers can gather. What's going on? There are usually hundreds of demon clan emperors. Why are there only a few tonight? I still need to raise merit points to exchange for things. How can this be enough? Do you think you can deal with a few demon clan Earth emperors? Don't worry, there are not many people dying these days. It is very likely that the demon clan is preparing to launch a general attack. The situation is serious. The commander-in-chief has not shown up for several days. Please be careful. The current situation depends on the outcome of the battle between the commander-in-chief and the demon lord. Well. Su Bai bypassed the crowd and went up to the second floor. As soon as she got here, a woman dressed in the costume of a demon slayer came up to her. Hello, how can I help you? Su Bai shook his head, turned around and walked towards the third floor. The woman was stunned for a moment and immediately caught up with him. Well, you should be the new demon slayer. The floors here are different from Tianmen Pass. Going to the third floor requires more than 1 million merit points. You probably don't have that much, so you should go shopping on the second floor. Although the things here are not as good as those on the third floor, they are much better than Tianmengwen. Su Bai said nothing and walked up the steps leading to the upper level. Hey, you guy, I reminded you because you are handsome. Don't be ungrateful, okay? The woman looked a little ashamed and angry. Changed to before. She had no intention of paying attention to these demon slayers who had just come up. If it weren't for the fact that this man was somewhat handsome, she wouldn't have bothered to come over. But this guy is so cold. She has already tried to persuade her, but she is still going her own way. Are she really not afraid of being blown down by the light curtain on the third floor? What's going on, Sister Qian? Several demon slayers came over in search of the sound. After learning the specific situation, everyone's face was full of jokes. Chapter 58 S-level sword skill, Demon Killing. This guy really doesn't know the heights of the world. He wants to go to the third floor just after he got up. He thinks he is the great swordsman Ouyang. Just wait and see, the recognition light curtain will knock him down soon. It's been a long time since I've seen a light curtain blasting people, it's a good show. Hey, Lao Lu Lao Gao, tell the brothers to come up and watch the light curtain blast people. Several demon slayers yelled at each other, and before long, dozens of demon slayers gathered here. After understanding what happened, everyone looked at Su Bai, who was about to walk up to the third floor with a sneer. Isn't this Su Bai? A voice rang out from the crowd. After hearing this, all the demon slayers silently made way for them. Nothing else. Just because the person who spoke was Ouyang Xiaoyao, one of the most famous figures on the current Tianzhan battlefield. How come he's not dead? Ouyang Xiaoyao looked at Tang Hao beside him, his eyes filled with disbelief. Tang Hao's face didn't look good either. He had originally planned to go to the South 9th District to check on the situation earlier. But tonight, the number of demon emperors attacking the area he was responsible for was far greater than before, and they were unable to get away. After the demon clan retreated, he was just about to go over when Ouyang Xiaoyao called him here. I thought something big was going on, but I didn't expect that this guy wanted to borrow merit points from him in exchange for sword skills. This guy is not simple. Yuan Tian is probably dead. If we want to kill him, we have to find another way. Tang Hao said in a deep voice. Oh, no one Ouyang Xiaoyao, wanted to kill has ever escaped. He, Su Bai, is no exception. Ouyang Xiaoyao sneered. Upon seeing this, the female demon slayers around him suddenly had stars in their eyes and swarmed towards him. Ouyang Great Sword Immortal. Ouyang Handsome Man, sign your name for me. Great Sword Immortal of Yushu Linfeng, give me a beautiful photo of you for later use. I want it too. I want it too. Ouyang Xiaoyao was very pleased with the fact that so many women gathered around him. He smoothed his hair and showed a smile that he thought was handsome. Don't worry, line up and come one by one. Ouyang Xiaoyao. Su Bai turned around and saw Ouyang Xiaoyao and Tang Hao surrounded by the crowd. He didn't say anything, and walked into the light curtain blocking the second and third floors with an expressionless face. But he didn't know that when he turned around, the previously noisy crowd suddenly fell silent. Xiaomei, let me sign it for you. Ouyang Xiaoyao smiled and turned around, only to find that the woman in front of him was staring intently in the direction Su Bai was leaving. His face turned cold, and he turned to look at the other woman, only to find that she was also like this. He looked at several more women without belief, but found that they were all the same. Many of those with weak concentration even swallowed a few mouthfuls of saliva. Snort. Ouyang Xiaoyao pushed through the crowd and walked up to the third floor with a gloomy expression. After the two people left, several exclamations suddenly erupted from the silent crowd. How is this possible? How can this newcomer have so many merit points? He actually entered the third floor. That's 1 million merit points, and you have to kill 2,000 demon clan emperors to get it all. It seems to me that this guy's merit ring is Chang'an, which means he chose to fight alone, but how could he collect so many merit points by himself? Even the woman who talked to the woman earlier had a look of disbelief on her face. Except for Ouyang Xiaoyao, she had never seen any demon slayer who had more than 1 million merit points as soon as he came up. Call. After coming back to her senses, the woman quickly clicked on the merit points a few times. Hey, Xiaozi, take a look, is there an extremely handsome boy coming upstairs? Yes, I wanted to entertain him, but he was too aloof and ignored me. Let me go, this guy wants to go to the fourth floor. That is a place that requires more than 5 million merit points to enter. How can he get in? There was an exclamation from the merit ring. The sound was not quiet, and everyone present could hear it clearly. After hearing the news, these demon slayers were not calm anymore. We have just come up and are about to go up to the fourth floor. Is he going to break the record of the battlefield of heaven? Impossible, absolutely impossible. With so many merit points, how can he, a guy who just came here, collect them all? 5 million merit points, this means killing 10,000 demon emperors. If he really had such strength, he would have come up long ago. Why is he still down there? I don't believe it. I don't believe it either. I don't believe it either. Oh, let me send the picture to you. Xiao Zi's voice came over. Immediately afterwards, the spiritual power on the merit ring on the woman's hand surged, and Su Bai's figure was heard coming upstairs. When they saw his figure again, many of the female demon slayers took a deep breath. The other demon slayers had mocking expressions on their faces. 1 million is already the limit. If he really goes to the fourth floor, I can call him daddy. Just call him dad, I'll G call him grandpa. I call him ancestor. I call him grandpa. My name is. Before everyone's voices could stop, Su Bai walked into the fourth floor of the Hall of Merit. The light curtain that turned from red to green was like a basin of cold water being poured down, silencing all the demon slayers on the second floor of the Hall of Merit. And Su Bai didn't know all this. At this moment, he had found the sword skill Shui mentioned. Hello, this sword skill book is called Demon Slayer. It is an S-level martial skill and is priced at 6.99 million merit points. Next to Su Bai, a woman in a green robe was pointing at the red light curtain and introducing softly. Qing Yi, this book of sword skills belongs to me. How can a guy like him who just came here afford it? At this time, Ouyang Xiaoyao came over. He flicked the merit ring, and a series of numbers quickly appeared on it. 7,001,263. The woman glanced at Ouyang Xiaoyao, ignored her, and continued to introduce Su Bai softly. Because it touches S level, there is no unnecessary introduction to this sword skill, but the commander-in-chief himself said that this sword skill is extremely lethal and is the best among sword skills. Li Qingyi, do you think he can afford it? Don't delay, give me this sword skill quickly. Ouyang Xiaoyao urged. According to the regulations, he came first. He has 10 minutes to think about it. You are not qualified to rush it. Li Qingyi said coldly. Okay, then let me see if this guy really has so many merit points. Ouyang Xiaoyao leaned on the shelf and looked at Su Bai with a sneer. He knew that Su Bai's strength was not bad, and this winter demon wave was not easy either. He estimated that Su Bai could get up to more than 4 million merit points. To be able to go up to the 4th floor, at least I borrowed more than 1 million from someone else. The total adds up to just over 5 million. But this sword skill is priced at 6.99 million merit points. Even if he had to borrow some from Tang Hao, he didn't believe Su Bai could get it. I want it. Chapter 59 The Way of Killing Demons. You want it? Ouyang Xiaoyao looked strange, as if he had heard a big joke. Did you hear that? Qingyi, sell it to him quickly, he has already decided to buy it. Ouyang Xiaoyao didn't believe that Su Bai could spend 7 million merit points. Now, he had already imagined the scene of Su Bai being slapped in the face. Maybe it was because of Su Bai's face. When he thought of this, he felt very happy. Ouyang Xiaoyao, my name is Li Qingyi. Please call me by my full name from now on. Thank you. Li Qingyi glanced at Ouyang Xiaoyao coldly. Okay, Qingyi. Ouyang Xiaoyao said with a smile. The next moment, a square-shaped painted halberd came out of the air and was placed on his neck. The domain power on the halberd spread out in all directions, and before it fell, several bloody mouths appeared on his neck. He gently pushed away the Feng Tian painted halberd, and the smile on his face faded, replaced by a solemn expression. Li Qingyi, I was just joking with you. As for making such a big move? Ouyang Xiaoyao, I hope you understand that I am not giving you advice, I am just informing you. If you feel unhappy, you can come to me at any time. I, Li Qingyi, am always waiting for you. Whoosh. Li Qingyi put away Feng Tian's painted halberd, turned around and continued talking to Su Bai softly. Hold your sword skills. Just show me your merit ring. She took out the sword skill and handed it to Su Bai. Li Qingyi, what are you doing? You gave him sword skills before deducting his merit points. This is against the regulations. Ouyang Xiaoyao shouted coldly. Li Qingyi ignored him, just stretched out his merit ring and touched Su Bai's merit ring. Then a string of numbers 69, 90, 000 appeared, indicating that the transaction was successful. How is that possible? Ouyang Xiaoyao looked at this scene with dull eyes. He couldn't believe that Su Bai actually had 7 million merit points. That's 7 million. The total amount he has earned in the past few years since he came to the Eastern Border War Zone is only this much. But this guy has only been here for 2 months and has already made such a sum. Is he cheating? The transaction is completed, you can leave with it. Li Qingyi smiled. Su Bai nodded and left. But as soon as he took 2 steps, Li Qingyi stopped him. Su Bai, you were able to leave the demon-slaying way in Tianmen Pass. You are very powerful. If you have time, we can discuss it. My name is Li Qingyi. If you find it troublesome, just call me Qingyi. The Way of Killing Demons? Su Bai had never heard of this name, nor had he ever had such a thing. It's the road paved with the heads of more than 10 Earth Emperors, more than 1,000 Demon Emperors, and more than 30,000 Demon Kings. This road was named by the 10th Army Commander Wang Guoganqi. The meaning is, step on the demon-killing path, come out of seclusion, and kill the demon. Nu. Say it. He started to leave, but his way was blocked by Ouyang Xiaoyao who came unexpectedly. Wait, no matter how I calculated, you don't have so many merit points. I suspect that you have tampered with the data in the merit ring. If you don't explain the origin of your merit points, I will keep this sword skill. Su Bai didn't say anything. What he answered was a blue sword light that blessed the artistic conception of the two swords and 30% of the power of the confinement field. The sword came with such ferocity that even though Ouyang Xiaoyao reacted quickly and hurriedly used his sword domain to block it, he was knocked back dozens of steps. Okay. Su Bai, you are so brave, you actually dare to do something here. Don't you know that if you do anything to your compatriots on the battlefield of Yutian, you will be punished? Ouyang Xiaoyao, it was you who provoked Su Bai and questioned his merit points first. There is nothing wrong with him taking action. Li Qingyi said solemnly. I admit that I provoked him, and I also admit that I questioned him, but from the beginning to the end, I never made a move on him here. Instead, he was the one who killed me. According to the regulations of the heavenly battlefield, Su Bai must be punished for such behavior. Su Bai looked at him expressionlessly, and when he raised his hand, there was another blue sword light. This sword empowers the 8 realms of artistic conception and 30% of the power of the confinement domain. Boom click. The sword light went straight towards Ouyang Xiaoyao, and the terrifying power it carried directly shattered the entire void. Ouyang Xiaoyao didn't expect Su Bai to kill again. In a hurry, he swung his long sword and used the sword domain to stop the sword. One of the 8 artistic conceptions has even transformed at least 30% of the domain's power. How could this happen to a person? Ordinary warriors only have one artistic conception. Not long ago, there was research on the coexistence of multiple artistic conceptions in the Dragon Kingdom. However, there are mutual repulsions between artistic conceptions. They are not mutually reinforcing attributes and cannot coexist at all. Even with the attributes of mutual generation, looking at the entire Dragon Kingdom, there are currently only one person who has mastered more than 2 artistic conceptions. Not to mention mastering so many artistic conceptions and integrating them so skillfully. It can be said that Su Bai's sword has broken Li Qingyi's cognition. Su Bai, you have violated the laws of the battlefield by killing me like this. Now that the commanders are away, I, Ouyang Xiaoyao, will punish you on their behalf. Ouyang Xiaoyao roared angrily, the domain around him expanded, and the violent power of the domain swept in. Su Bai was in it, and the place he entered was no longer the 4th floor of the Hall of Merit, but a dark vacuum area filled with long swords. Unfortunately, Su Bai, I just broke through the Qiongyu realm yesterday. I originally wanted to redeem this sword skill, but I didn't expect that you would get it first. But it doesn't matter. As long as I kill you, everything about you, including your face, will be mine. It seems that Qiongyu realm strong men mainly rely on their domain to fight. No wonder there are not many military commanders on the battlefield of heaven. Su Bai took a deep breath, the Zhuxian sword flew out, and set up the Zhuxian sword formation. At the same time, Tiang's spear emerged from his hand, with thunder raging on it and a roaring sound. System, the artistic conception of thunder adds 650,000 points. Ding! Adding points is completed, the current artistic conception of thunder is C level 0/1 million. Ba! 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 The artistic conception was upgraded, and a more powerful and pure light of thunder suddenly erupted from Tiang's spear. I didn't expect you to understand the artistic conception of thunder with such powerful killing power. With such a monster's talent, I will not be able to keep you today. Ouyang Xiaoyao waved his long sword, and the thousands of long swords in the domain suddenly turned into streams of light and came towards them. Their speed was no less fast than the artistic conception of wind that Su Bai had comprehended. Swish! 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 Long swords flooded into the formation, triggering the power of the Zhuxian sword formation. Countless blue sword lights appeared out of thin air, blocking these long swords. But how can a long sword imbued with domain power be blocked by an immortal killing sword intention? Moreover, this place is within Ouyang Xiaoyao's domain, and the Zhuxian sword cannot absorb spiritual power. However, the spiritual power in the sword has been consumed in tens of seconds, turning into a stream of light and flying into the scabbard. Without the help of the Zhuxian sword formation, Su Bai could only rely on Tiang's spear to resist the endless sword. Su Bai, die. If I hadn't entered Xiongyu realm, I wouldn't be completely sure to kill you, but today, you will die. Chapter 60. You are not qualified to sanction him. When Su Bai was facing the sword light in the sky, Ouyang Xiaoyao suddenly appeared from the side. The long sword in his hand carried the power of the domain and stabbed towards his neck accurately. When he saw this, Tian Kei's long spear shook, and the power of all things was released, smashing hundreds of thousands of sword lights and facing Ouyang Xiaoyao's long sword. Just hearing a loud bang, Ouyang Xiaoyao flew out like a kite. But Su Bai, who was bombarded by the power of the domain, also felt uncomfortable and retreated in a hurry. What a terrifying power! You actually have such divine power. After one hit failed, Ouyang Xiaoyao no longer held back, the domain quickly shrank, and the power of the domain suddenly increased. Su Bai was in it, and the pressure increased sharply, as if he was stuck in a quagmire, and he was restricted in all directions. At the same time, within the domain, long swords all over the sky gathered together to form a giant sword that exuded dazzling light. Die! Ouyang Xiaoyao pointed his long sword, and the giant sword immediately carried the power of the domain away. Su Bai stared at this giant sword, and with a thought in his mind, the immortal killing sword flew out. Infused with spiritual power, carrying 8 realms of artistic conception, the sword light with 30% of the power of the confinement domain met this giant sword. At the same time, he was holding Tiang's spear, his thunderous conception was wide open, and with invincible power, he followed the Zhuxian sword and slashed at this giant sword. Boom ka! Boom ka! 2 waves of terrifying power exploded in succession, and then Su Bai violently retreated, and the previous giant sword also shattered into pieces. But the shattered giant sword quickly turned into long swords that filled the sky, and attacked again. System, cultivation. Su Bai wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and was just about to break through the Qiongyu realm when a figure suddenly appeared in front of him. This man is holding Fang Tian's painted halberd, and above his head is a halberd shining brightly. Someone comes. It was Li Qingyi. Ouyang Xiaoyao, you passed. Li Qingyi drew his halberd across the sky, and tens of thousands of halberds came down in an instant. But in the blink of an eye, all the sword intent in the sky was shattered. Puff! The field was damaged, Ouyang Xiaoyao spurted out blood and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Li Qingyi's eyebrows moved, and the surrounding realm dispersed, restoring the appearance of the 4th floor of the Hall of Merit. Beside the shelf, Ouyang Xiaoyao looked at the 2 people who appeared, with ferocious faces and murderous intent. I'll kill you while you're sick. Su Bai turned his wrist, and the Tian Kei spear came out of his hand, carrying the power of shattering the void, and appeared in front of Ouyang Xiaoyao in a snap of his fingers. Damn it! Ouyang Xiaoyao activated his domain power and narrowly avoided this move. Click click. Tiang's spear pierced the wall of the Hall of Merit, and the majestic power contained in it directly broke a big hole in the wall. When the spear was released, Su Bai held the Zhuxian sword and prepared to take action, but was stopped by Li Qingyi. Su Bai, you can't kill him. Taking advantage of this gap, Ouyang Xiaoyao crushed the golden light curtain in his hand. Su Bai, you killed your compatriots. Li Qingyi, you actually protected this murderer like this. I, Ouyang Xiaoyao, can't punish you, but someone can. Whoosh! The artistic conception of wind was activated. Su Bai walked around Li Qingyi, and a blue sword light with 8 artistic conceptions appeared in the sky above Ouyang Xiaoyao. Who dares to ignore the rules of the battlefield and take action here? Just then, a golden figure of a middle-aged man emerged and dispersed Su Bai's sword light with a wave of his hand. Su Bai, this person is Gu Xingdong, commander of the 8th Army of Tianmen Pass. He is at the peak of Qiongyu realm. It is said that he has touched the edge of Shenghui realm. He is an extremely powerful person. Moreover, he is very optimistic about Ouyang Xiaoyao's selection for the position of commander of the 9th Army. You have to be careful, Li Qingyi said in a message. This at the same time. She also crushed a golden light curtain. What? In the eastern border war zone, the battlefield of heaven, how dare you be so disorganized, you should be punished. Gu Xingdong snorted coldly, raised his hand and the golden spear appeared, attacking Su Bai at an extremely terrifying speed. In addition to the terrifying domain power, it also contains an inexplicable power. Facing this shot, Su Bai's hair stood up all over his body. He wanted to dodge, but was imprisoned on the spot and couldn't move. Before I even had time to add some points, the golden spear was already in front of me. At the critical moment, a long stick came through the air and blocked the fatal blow. But even so, the power of the collision between the two still knocked Su Bai away. Puff! Su Bai couldn't bear to spit out a mouthful of blood when he got up. This blow was the most powerful killing move he had ever faced. If it weren't for the body with all things, I'm afraid I would have died on the spot. But even so, he was still severely injured. Shishue, why did you stop me? Gu Xingdong said coldly. I already know the reason for this. It was Ouyang Xiaoyao's provocation first. You can kill people at will if you provoke first. This is in the Eastern Border War Zone. There are rules in the Eastern Border War Zone. It is only natural that murder will be sanctioned. And your good disciple actually helped the murderer deal with Xiaoyao. I didn't even go to you to settle the score, but you actually stopped me from sanctioning this person. Why, 7th Army Commander Gu Shishue also wants to protect this murderer? That's not what I meant. A golden female figure appeared next to Li Qingyi. It's just that you are not qualified to sanction him. Gu Shishue, what do you mean, as the commander of the army, you said I can't sanction him? The middle-aged man sneered. Have you heard of the demon-slaying way? Wang Guoguang said. You mean, this guy is Su Bai who chopped off the heads of tens of thousands of monsters to pave the way for Tianmen Pass? Gu Xingdong said solemnly. After receiving Gu Shishue's confirmation, his face suddenly became very ugly. The Eastern Border War Zone stipulates that those who have made great achievements and are recorded in the history of the human race should be respected. Even if a serious mistake is made, the military commander cannot judge and impose sanctions. The commander-in-chief must make the final decision. Gu Shishue, commander of the 7th Army of the Eastern Border War Zone, Tianmen Pass, and Tianji Battlefield, would like to thank you for your significant contribution to the war zone and to the human race. Gu Shishue bowed to Su Bai, and Li Qingyi hurriedly followed. It doesn't have to be like this, it's just about killing demons. Su Bai said calmly. Just kill the demon, yes, just kill the demon. Gu Shishue looked stunned, with a hint of appreciation in her eyes. Since we have to call the commander-in-chief to judge, then I will call the commander-in-chief. After Gu Xingdong said this, he crushed the light blue light curtain in his hand. What are you asking me to do? Don't you know I'm F******************* G the Demon Lord? A light blue figure emerged. It was He Yaowu, the commander-in-chief of the Eastern Border Theater in a suit. Report to the commander-in-chief that this person committed a murderous attack on his compatriots in the Tianji battlefield. I should punish him according to the law, but Gu Shishue stopped me and said that only you are qualified to judge him. Gu Xingdong said solemnly. What the hell, can't you just follow the rules? Why do you ask me to do it? Gu Xingdong pointed at Su Bai. I want to see who dares to act lawless and bring trouble to me. He Yaowu turned his head with an ugly expression. The next moment, his wrinkled face suddenly burst into laughter. It's you, my good disciple. You are listening to it in Eugene light novels.